Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We have air conditioning this week.
Yeah.
It's a whole new world from last time.
Yeah.
Where I said I'm out of sweat. I looked down and there was just like a puddle on the floor. It was really gross.
What, yesterday, last time?
I don't know if you noticed that or not. There was physically like it was going on my knee and then just dripping here
I didn't
on the
even
floor.
notice that.
There was just an actual puddle on the floor from my human filth.
That's gross.
Yeah. Humans are disgusting.
Yeah, they are.
And I was being disgusting in your room on your hardwood floor.
I mean, that's fine.
Is it kind of hardwood? I don't know. People just say hardwood, and I don't know if there's other kinds of wood floors.
There's linoleum, hardwood, and
so it's just is hardwood the only wood?
Yes.
Okay, it's just always hardwood.
Yeah. Well, there's faux.
Hard is a description, so I just didn't know if there was other types. Although softwood sounds like a bad idea for a floor.
Yeah, a little bit. There's linoleum hardwood, which is linoleum that looks like hardwood.
Yeah, that's just a pattern.
Yeah,
it's like wallpaper, but for your floor.
But they call it linoleum hardwood.
I'm sure they do.
Because it's dumb. But yeah, no, this is actually
they gotta run out that character limit.
This is authentic hardwood, bamboo.
Authentic hardwood, bamboo hardwood.
Yep. Bamboo hardwood is the best hardwood because it looks nice, it's a bright color, and it's beautiful. It has that nice...
those three reasons were one reason. Those are all one reason.
Yeah, one reason.
That's just what it looks like. You're like, here comes my list of things. I like the way it looks. But I'm going to say that 4 times.
If I say it 4 different times, it sounds more impressive.
It sounds like a longer list.
It was mostly just because I came back... I want to say I came back from Japan, and I was like, man...
You started doing what indie developers do when I'm looking at the Keymailer page for like the description of like features, and I'll be like, features of frame rate. And I'm like, what? Multiple levels. I'm like, what? Why are you saying that? Don't say that as one of your features. That's not, you're already there on your list. Like, that's when you're in trouble, is when you look at the list of features for a game and they're like, multiple songs, multiple levels, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's the best you can do on your features list. Not like, here's our inventive cool idea. It's like, it features multiple levels. I'm like, oh, skip?
It's a shame.
We used to, on Let's Tries, just play whatever the fuck. So a lot of real bottom of the barrel shit would get in.
Oh yeah.
And nowadays I can't even get to the bottom of the barrel shit.
Oh, because you have too much.
I do a Let's Try every other day, which is like 180 a year. I think is how the math works out.
Oh my god.
I think that's how the math works out. Yeah, it's like that's 180 Let's Tries a year if I do it every other day.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and even with that, there's so many like passable games to do that I can't even get to like the backlog. Like Keymailer has a thing where it's like here's the things you requested that they approved.
Yeah,
and they give you a code, and then there's the things like here's the things that just people are just sending you.
Yeah,
where it's like, and that's always the more worrying list where you get like the nightmare. Like,
yeah,
you're lucky if you get an RPG Maker game. That's like the top. That's like the cream of the crop of the stuff they send to you without you asking for it.
Yes,
everything else is like the type of shit that you'll see like on a weird video that is recommended to you that of Jim Sterling playing a game, like that kind of shit.
Oh, like, yeah, like those
it's just really... a weird garbage pile of like
it's either like an asset flip.
It's at best a school project.
Yeah, at best, most of them are school projects.
There's so much of that. We used to get to those a bit when we were marathoning them, doing them like multiple times a day. But nowadays, I'm like, I can't even get to them because I'll be like, I'm literally at the point of like, do I do a Let's Try of Iconoclast? Because I might not get a chance to ever do a series of it. Like, that's the type of thing I'm considering Let's Trying, is like someone's passion project they worked 8 years on. Because there's so many indie games. It's becoming that. It's incredible. What a time to be alive. You'll never play these. You'll never get through all this shit. That's so good.
Yeah, it is. They're like every week my Steam just keeps growing, and it gets more and more concerning because I'm just like, I don't know when I will play these or if ever. Like,
you were playing a Doom clone or something, right?
Yeah, because it was free.
Was that free?
It's free.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I got because I saw it. It showed up on my.
I put in a key request for it.
Did you? Really?
Is it really free?
Yeah.
I didn't even look. Why do people make games that are free? I'm so confused.
Well, because they're going to come out. No, well, because it's in early access. Oh. So once it's done, they have like a Kickstarter page. So once the game releases,
that's why it's called survival mode. Yeah, it's like a single mode from the final game or something.
Yes.
Okay.
You can only play the survival mode right now.
They had that gimmick with totally realistic battlegrounds.
Yes,
where they're like, it's free for the first 10 hours or first 100 hours, I think it was, and then everyone after that has to pay for it. And
which no one did.
I don't think it's really bad.
Yeah.
Did you watch my video of it or anything? Like, the map is just empty.
Yeah,
it's just a giant empty map. There's like 3 settlements in it, and unlike other battle royale, like every single game I've ever played in the battle royale genre, I specifically avoid the super centers of like crazy buildings. Yeah, and I'll be like, let's go over to that area right there. I bet I can find something over there to equip my character, and then I'll move towards population centers and stuff like that, or wherever the circle takes me. Because going into a population center is like suicide.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, the place where 20 people are all shooting at the same time, and you won't even have a chance to pick up a weapon.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll go to that. I was like, I can shoot across the bay over there, and there's like a whole mountainous area over there. Let's see what's over there. It was 10 minutes of walking in open fields with no items. Like, the map is garbage.
That's amazing.
I'm always disappointed when people cite stupid things as being the reason why it's okay. Like, they're like, it's a parody. I'm like, it's just a unironic, genuine battle royale game where you can go gangsta mode and he beatboxes. And like, everyone's playing as a wacky, wavy, inflatable arm tube man, technically.
Yeah.
But it's a first-person game, so even if their movement is physics-based in any way, you can't see your character moving around, so you can't appreciate that it's like funny how your character's moving, because it's a first-person game.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's like a beatbox handle mode isn't self-parody in its own, especially since like Battle Royale got popularity with PUBG, which is like a military simulator game, but then all the ones that spun off of that are all like cartoonish, silly-looking games. So like the idea of like, we're the cartoonish, silly-looking parody is like not its own selling point when all of them look like that.
Yeah, like Fortnite and Realm Royale are both like very cartoony looking,
and also like Radical Heights was, if anything, was the silly parody of the genre, while also being a real one, at least.
Yeah.
This game is like, there's like nothing to it, and the map is just huge, mountainous, open, like, look like they're generated by a terrain generator areas where you just don't find anything.
That could be what it is. They may have created a map that randomly generates, and then there's like 3 cities that exist. And
it seems like it,
and they just put those cities,
and it's from the people that made Cluster Truck and stuff like that. Like they're a small company, but like that's why you don't make a battle royale game as a small company. And it's like, you should not be able to, in this genre, like rocket off to some area and be like, oh, I landed in the area where that's empty and has nothing in it.
Yeah,
like,
there should always be,
it's just a trap to ruin your experience.
The most space you should get is usually about like about 2 to 3 minutes of empty space,
or like before a line of sight.
Yeah,
that should be something to go to.
You should always be able to see your destination that has items in it. Yeah. You should never be in a situation where you look and you go like, there's literally nothing in any direction.
I don't think I've ever been in a location in a battle royale game before where I couldn't turn around in 360 and be like, there's a thing over there.
Yeah,
it's like there's a radio tower or a shack or a city or a weird quarry or a construction site that might have interesting stuff in it. Like just something in the map. And that game was just fields for as far as I could see, and I spent 10 minutes just walking, and I didn't find a single landmark. I didn't find a single weapon or item of any kind. Not even the go-to thing you'd put in that kind of area to save people if you're too lazy to make a map is throw some vehicles in there.
Yeah.
Because there were vehicles. I found a vehicle in one of my first lives, but when I landed over there wasn't even a vehicle to like help you get out of it. It was just a trap to ruin your day. And it's like, it's so badly designed. And you can't hide behind the idea like, it was free for the first 100 hours, or it's only $5, or it's a parody. Like, it's a video game where the mechanics are the only way to interact with it, and it's not fun.
Yeah,
and I was especially because it's so confused by people defending it.
It's only multiplayer too, which you have to put into factors like,
it's not like it has jokes.
No, it's like I'm not gonna pay $5.
You can't make a bad entry in a genre and be like, satire.
Yeah. That's not how
anything works.
That's not how parody works.
And so it was really funny because like almost immediately after that I played Realm Royale.
Yeah.
And literally the moment I dropped in, where I had not even played the game yet, I was just looking down. I'm like, Everyone, look at the map. See how everywhere I can look, there's something in every chunk of the map I can look at? Look how diverse and filled this map is.
I would almost argue that Realm Royale is has really good map design.
It's a fucking busy map, that's for sure. I looked down and I'm just like, there's just shit everywhere.
Yeah. There's always
everywhere.
Something. There's a lot of places to go. The places you go to have enough buildings and rooms in those buildings that you can do a lot of stuff where like, I feel like Fortnite's really heavy on you never want to be in a building. You want to build your own building when you're fighting people. And it's kind of a pain in the fucking ass because I don't Twitch build. That's the weird thing.
Did they ever make it so you can pre-program a building to like instantly build?
No.
So whenever when people ever crop up with something, they're like rapidly building the whole thing from scratch.
They what they do is I've seen it. They have hotkeys set up where they can quickly switch over to the next switch over to build mode, and then they can swap between they have like hotkeys for the two different builds that they basically
That's legitimately terrifying because when I played Fortnite, like when I was playing it in the normal mode, that isn't Battle Royale. Even there, like I was playing it in a context where timing didn't matter. There was no time sensitivity because you're just building like for fun, like waiting, and then you like start the wave manually basically. And even given infinite time, I'm like, this is the jankiest, most awkward and not intuitive way to build things in like any game I've ever built stuff in. And it's like a nightmare that seems to be in some cases like super curtailed so that it could be possible to play with a controller and so on, and like it's just a terrible interface. And the idea of people using that interface in a competitive shooter, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
People just got over it?
They did. And I see people, like, I watched Ninja stream a couple of times, and he just creates mansions out of nothing. Like, he will literally, like, someone will show up, shoot one shot at him, and he's got a fucking Fortress of Solitude.
Was Ninja around before Fortnite? Like, did he already have a big following? Or
no, he didn't have a big following. He existed before Fortnite, doing minor streams, then just playing casual games for funsies, and then Fortnite came out. He's like, I'll just play Fortnite, it's free, it sounds like fun. And then he got like really
Ninja
into it.
Breaks my brain.
For how much he streams, you mean?
No, I actually know fuck all about Ninja.
Like,
I don't know anything about Ninja as a person or what his streams are like or anything, because I just don't watch streams really. But like, it breaks my brain that he's like, he just was suddenly one of the biggest people on like the entire
he just became like
gaming
he became like the PewDiePie of Twitch.
Like overnight.
No, because he played a game with
no, even then, because he was already in the news plenty before then. I was like, oh my god, biggest streamer ever. He did this big charity thing where it was the most concurrent views ever on Twitch and stuff like that. That was all before he did the celebrity stream. Like the celebrity stream was after that, in response to that, like his growing audience. What kept blowing my mind is just like, I was like, Fortnite just got a Battle Royale mode. And already somebody got, not only did they get big off of that, they got so big they were the biggest thing.
He's good at it.
I was like, motherfucker, how does this entire mediascape work?
Yeah, I mean, he's just really good at a game, and especially a Battle Royale game like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fun to watch it. So when someone's winning.
Is he one of the people is he one of the people that's good, that's famous for being good at games as opposed to like
no, he's famous for being good at Fortnite.
No, I mean like I mean like his audience is there because he's good as opposed to like personality or what?
I would argue that people will tell you they're there like, for the personality.
I just mean like no one on YouTube is famous. No gamers on YouTube are famous for their ability to play the games.
Speedrunners are.
They're not famous. That's what I mean. It's like every single top YouTuber in games, period, is just a personality. And almost all of them are face people, in particular, like mugging at the camera and stuff like that. There's no one on YouTube. Like, yes, there's people on YouTube that have a following, and they are skilled people, like Lobos Jr. and stuff like that do like their thing, but they never have a large following. It's always like they have like maybe 200K and
I would
stuff
say
like
that Ninja is popular because of his skills.
And that's super unusual.
Yes.
But that might speak more to what Twitch is.
Twitch is more about the game than it is about the person.
It's more about the Twitch.
Yeah, it's about the Twitch.
It has to be more about the people, the game, and their skills and like stuff like that than the person, because you can't even get to the person past all the fucking donation shit that's going. I'm like, I lose my mind. I do wonder the thought process sometimes behind the donations.
like people donating.
Yeah,
it's usually self-serving. You do it because you want to get recognized.
Yeah, is that what it is? Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm always curious because like
especially for like streamers.
Like Marty was watching Ninja, like in the front room at our house, and I walked in and he's like, "Yeah, look, all these people are just they know that he's impossibly rich, and they're just donating."
Yeah,
it's not even like they're subscribed, it's like to support him, but like in addition to that, they're just spontaneously throwing money at the person that has a mountain of money forever.
Yeah,
when they probably have considerably less money, and I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to process in my brain,
because here's the thing: is that on Twitch, it's just
part of the culture that they like got kids used to being part of like a celebrity telethon.
It's less about that and more about the threat. Like you don't know how well a person's doing.
Yeah.
And so in your mind, you see the bits, and the bits don't have dollar value. So you don't.
Except for Ninja, you definitely know how well he's doing.
Well, but I mean, even still in Ninja's case, you don't know how much does he need per month to accumulate before he would just say like, Twitch isn't worth it. I'll just leave. I'll just go do something else.
Like the idea of like if he stops making enough money, he'd suddenly just
he would just suddenly
the most
stop.
entitled shit and just be like, I made less than $100,000 today. I guess I quit.
Well, no, I mean, it's like the idea that, basically that. If he could just get a job somewhere else that pays him more consistent and better, why wouldn't he just do that? And so you throw money at him.
He's probably already made enough money to never need money again, right?
No.
Not yet?
No. He'll never make that much money.
Of course he can.
No, not on Twitch.
Yeah.
No.
Have you seen how much money he's made already?
Yeah. Do you see how fucking retarded he was and bought like a really big house? He's stuck with that forever.
Yeah, that's what people do is they're like, what's that? I made an incredible amount of money. Time to fuck up any chance of this being a permanent fix.
I guarantee you he's stuck in like a 30-year mortgage for like a 30-year mortgage.
This got so real.
Like that probably
this
costs
so real.
It does. I've seen like pictures of his house. It's like I want to say it's like 4 or 5 bedroom house. I think it's like 2 stories. One of the rooms is like literally a movie theater kind of thing.
That'd be so great.
And I was like, you're gonna pay like $3,000 a month for rent?
How
like this is ridiculous.
Do you need though? Like, is it just for the purpose of seating other people, I guess?
Yes, it's for like having parties and friends.
It's like the movie theater experience isn't too tough. Like, you've been to Marty's house, we have a movie theater chair.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
You have one.
We have one.
You don't have like a stadium.
It was because Marty worked at a movie theater and they were just getting rid of old ones, and he's like,
I'll take one.
Like, he just took one home with him, and we just have a movie theater chair. I was like, this is comfortable. It's never the right height for any activities. That's the main problem. It's exclusively useful for sitting in front, positioning it in front of a screen.
Yeah,
and just sitting there. But someone always is interested in trying to, as a gimmick. I have like weird, like not like burp hiccups going on. I don't even know what they are. It's like not a proper hiccup, but like a weird like. I can't even explain it. It's like a weird thing that you only experience when you're doing Let's Plays or podcasts. Is you like. Your breathing habits are getting disrupted wrong because you're talking so much, but you're talking so fast that you start inhaling. Discovering new problems of how speaking and breathing interact.
Yeah.
Like it's never the right thing. Someone always wants to try to like live the gimmick of sitting in that chair while doing like a tabletop night or something like that, and then it's always like like it doesn't fit the tables.
Yeah,
and it's too uncomfortable to get in and out of, even if it is physically comfortable to sit in.
Yeah,
but like. I don't know. None of this is spiteful towards...
it's not spiteful towards Ninja. Like
none of this is spiteful towards Ninja. This is just me looking at the bizarreness of this scape.
It's more of just the culture behind Twitch itself.
Or whatever the fuck you call it. Because like it's something. It's my living is tied to this
to some
culture
extent,
overall. Tangentially.
And it's not to say that like I will be the one to say, or I'll be the first to say that Ninja puts in the effort.
Yeah.
Dude does like 12-hour streams like every week.
He's not one of those people... He's not one of those confusing cases that are accidentally successful.
No, like PewDiePie.
Well, even PewDiePie, at least by the standards of then, at least was putting in his time. I think he at least still edits his own videos, which is like one of the things I was going to bring up was like there's multiple people I've encountered on YouTube that have millions of subscribers, and their channel is based around making like a funny video every week or a few funny videos every week, and not like Peanut Butter Gamer or JonTron, like scripted videos, but like video game highlight videos type things.
Yeah.
And what I keep finding is that those channels are the strangest people where they're like, they don't care that much about their channel. and they're kind of just doing their own thing in their life, or often like a lot of them are like pursuing degrees or working their other job and stuff like that.
It's just a hobby. Yeah.
And what they do is they record a few hours of gaming and each week, then they send it to somebody else, and that person is like that farmed out person is their editor that basically runs their channel and actually makes the video and everything. It's the weirdest experience where what is it? Kryken is one of them where I through Kryken I found the person that was editing his Dark Souls videos was Neocranium, and I'm like I subscribed to Neocranium's channel because I'm like, this guy makes really funny videos. Like the videos on his channel are really funny, and I wasn't always super into Kryken's videos necessarily because
hot take,
just not
shots fired.
It's comedy. You care about whoever you care about and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you could just go to Neocranium's videos and he'd be live streaming him editing the videos that were like Kryken and Vati Vidya and other people playing through like Dark Souls 3 together in co-op. And like, it's the weirdest thing where I'm losing my mind because you get to see the editing details behind the scenes. And it's like, Kryken doesn't separate his audio.
His game audio and his speaking audio like combined?
The most basic elements of like separating your audio, like separating the game audio and the speaking audio and the audio of like the other collaborators via the TeamSpeak or whatever they're talking on. Like it's all just like baked into one thing.
How does he? How at this point has the editor just tolerated this?
Well, he just gets hired to do it.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
he gets paid to do it, so he's like, fuck it, here's your video.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you just be like, yo, man, you could just do this and it would make
It's amazing because you can look at Neocranium's videos and they're so much higher quality because he does the necessary steps on his end.
Because he knows what he's doing.
It's amazing to see like a channel that's like doing really well, but the creator just is not interested in it doing well on certain degrees, or like it's just a means to an end.
Yeah.
And like they don't make the necessary steps to make the quality higher on their end. And then they farm out all the work to somebody else, and I'm like, it's the weirdest experience to follow.
YouTube is a weird place. You could find a lot of like situations where you're like, how does this system work, and why would you do it this way? And then, but it works.
I saw the same thing same thing's true for Critical to an extent. I don't think he's as detached from his channel necessarily. I don't think he's like specifically detached from his channel and stuff like that. He's actively making the videos all the time, and it supposedly donates the proceeds to charity or some shit. But like one day his editor just contacted me and was like starting conversations, and I was so taken aback. I think I was accidentally an asshole in my response because I was just so taken aback because I was still reeling from the news of learning this about like Kryken, and and then the editor for Critical contacts me. I'm like, I'm so confused about YouTube right now because like I'm sitting here like recording for hours and hours a day and then editing for all this time, and I'm like I keep finding out that all the people that are larger than me don't even edit their own videos.
Yeah. I mean,
I was already baffled by like Super Best Friends Play and Game Grumps because like those don't even do like funny compilation videos.
Yeah.
Like Super Best Friends Play and Game Grumps, all you do is process your audio and then be like, video start here and end here is like 90% of the work. And the only other thing that happens is like their self-created work with like, hey, Barry, throw this in. And it's like, why are you doing this to Barry? Like that kind of stuff is the only real editing that ever happens in there.
Yeah.
And nothing, I've never seen any real editing happen in like a Best Friends Play video. And in both cases, like they have editors. I'm like,
you just got to follow the path, Keith. You got to get an editor.
What?
That's how you succeed on YouTube.
I'm extra confused because like it would be one thing of like I'm someone who could actually kind of use being able to pass off stuff for editing because of the amount of content being made. But like these people make like a video a day in many cases, and I'm like, well, you can't just render it.
And no,
well, I don't know why somebody else is even involved.
In Game Grumps' case, I am 100% confused about everything that goes on with the editing process.
Like Kryken and Critical are doing funny compilations, so it's like there's editing involved. You have to pick out each video takes at least an hour, probably multiple hours to edit.
Exactly, yeah.
So like at least then I'm like, okay, it's a little weird that you even are farming it out at all, but sure.
Yeah,
you'd think that if it's your job, that your one video a day would be kind of like a thing you made yourself. I think Critical makes way more videos now, but I haven't even looked at Kryken for the longest time. But at the time, that was their channels, was like really low output, and just finding out they weren't even editing was like just a weird whiplash.
Yeah,
but like the channels that don't edit they don't genuinely do like editing, like in the same way that I really don't really do like editing most of the time, and they need to farm it out, but they only make one video a day, and I'm like, I just can't.
It's more concerning, like,
and they're always multi-person teams, you know, on the talent side.
Yes,
the people presenting are like 2 or 3 people, and I'm like, you already have a team, and you brought more people on the team. Is it too hard?
I don't think they have the skills.
They genuinely couldn't figure out like an editing software, or is it like nepotism where they're like, we have some extra money, I'll hire my friend? It might that could be it.
It might just be the nepotism.
I keep looking at YouTube channels from the outside, and I just want to know what's going on the inside. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out like, where's the money going.
Game Grumps is more concerning to me because they make one video that's like 10 minutes and something seconds long.
Yeah.
So they make like this really short video. They literally do the like sync here for the, you know, like they
have a process that confuses me.
Their process is like to create each episode individually. They don't just record it one time.
Yeah, they manually cut. Yeah, every episode where they literally stop recording and start recording again.
Yes,
which is like
that makes the editing has to be a fucking breeze.
Yeah,
like you just go like, boop,
like when we were recording a bunch of stuff, which they also do. They binge record for one day, except we.
But we do it.
We do that like every day. Yeah. Which is why there's so much more content. But like they will literally, they'll start and stop each, like they'll be recording, like they're like, we're recording 14 episodes today, but like they'll start and stop the recording every like 10 minutes manually. And I'm like, and they write down on cards the sync times, and they give the sync, they give all those notes to their editor, which is like, it's useful and thought out, but I'm like, this is so much extra just so you can say an intro and outro every episode, so you can say next time on Game Grumps or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And also like it actively creates problems because they'll be playing games where like they'll be like, next time on Game Grumps, like rushed out as they're going to like a loading screen or something.
Yeah.
And when they come back, a bunch of story just happened off camera because they weren't recording, and they were like between episodes, and the game was auto proceeding still because there wasn't a time you could actually stop the game correctly.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. We're just like, they just miss a bunch of shit in the game. And not only does the audience miss that stuff because the game couldn't be paused, I think they miss the stuff because they, as far as I can tell, they leave the room between episodes on a regular basis. So they just get up and leave while the game's still running. And I'm like, I'm so fascinated. I just want to podcast with these people, not even like in an accusatory way. I just want to process what the workflow is of all these different YouTube channels because they're so strange.
That would be an interesting documentary.
Yeah,
would be about like behind the scenes of the big YouTubers.
Yeah, like I want to see the behind the scenes process of all the recording things that so many of these people do, and also I just want to ask them questions about why they made each decision. Just because I can't answer the question, I can't tell.
As a creator, I can't answer my own question about the creation process.
Like there's the reoccurring thing that I've talked about on. I don't even know if it was on podcast. I think it was just during random Let's Plays where I just. As somebody who watches Game Grumps, they keep talking about how incredibly busy they are.
Yeah.
And they've been saying that for like the last 5 years. They're always talking about how incredibly busy they are. And I'm like, I just want to know what their day is.
Yeah, what is their schedule every day? I think... I think to
are
some
they
capacity,
manually packing all of their merch themselves?
Yes.
Is that why they're busy all day?
I bet
are they doing like slave labor in the back? Like I've got 10 minutes of Game Grumps done for today. Time to pack 500 shirts into boxes and mail them. Like, is that their day?
I would imagine that they do pack their own stuff, but the Game Grumps is also a company with like several people working there.
And yet they're always like, I'm so incredibly busy.
They're like always busy. I'm like, the only reason I can excuse.
On some level, Danny's making music, right?
Yeah, he makes like music with...
This is the weirdest podcast because we're just talking about a channel that people may not even follow.
Yeah.
But it's just this weird topic of like other YouTubers' busyness.
Every YouTuber is busy.
So many YouTubers are always talking about being busy. Like, I'm like, what are they busy with? What are they busy with? Like, I hear about...
But then the ones that aren't busy scare me more. With like JonTron. Where he's like, I'm just in between.
I have no idea what his life is. I'm so confused.
What do you do every day, JonTron?
Like, you hear about Jesse Cox being busy and you're like... I don't understand how you're busy because you make like a half-an-hour video like every other day.
He streams,
but then like out of nowhere you'll find out that Jesse Cox has filmed an entire show, and you're like, coming out on Geek and Sundry, this weird thing where Jesse Cox is a teacher or something, and like you'll like just find out he's filmed the whole thing. Like, oh, okay, there's just crazy shit happening in the background.
I mean, Game Grumps is like that too. They like Aaron appears on a lot of different channels all the time, but it's like
it's amazing how like is this just a thing? You become a large internet content creator person, and then out of nowhere you're like doing 500 weird deals that are completely outside of your channel.
Yeah,
that's I can't even process.
It's the idea.
I feel like I would just be the most terrified hermit and not respond to any of the emails. Like, people, hey, I got a great opportunity for you. Be like, which is kind of what happens sometimes already, but it's just because 500 people. I get another 3 emails every day that are like, join our
MCM,
our multi-channel network, and it's like, what do you offer me? It's like. Like, they can't even articulate what their value is. They just keep. It's like,
I think at this point they're just on their last leg, and they just send
like
emails.
Pro tip: if you're making a YouTube channel, and just be forewarned, or if you're already on a small YouTube channel, do not sign on with any MCN or anyone that's ever like, join our group or whatever. Which, like, Andrew made that mistake at one point with Sad Games and signed us on to some. Who was it for like a year?
God, I can't even remember their name now.
I don't remember who they were because they didn't matter. They don't do anything.
They do nothing.
They just take a percentage of your income and offer no services.
They give you a steady every month. They pay you out for your channel.
What some of them do is that they
better than YouTube, which waits until you hit a certain limit.
YouTube only pays you when you make $100. Yeah, which already we're talking about such chump change amounts of money that it's like it's not affecting your life anyway. Yeah, but like an MCN will take a percentage, and because they're already getting the money, because they're collectively getting all of the money from all the people, they will then pay you like a percentage of what you made, which is already fucked because you already make such a small percentage because of like the brand, like the advertising, how it works and how much YouTube takes and everything like that. That like having another person taking a cut is already like brutal.
Yes. They take a fair chunk too.
Yeah, they take a decent chunk while not really offering you anything in return.
Keith, they offer you a library of royalty-free music.
Yeah, like that's always the thing, is like, we have a royalty. It's called Incomtech. Kevin MacLeod, look him up. Everyone has access to him. We don't have to deal with like some particular MCN's fucking like,
YouTube has this feature built into the video editor.
YouTube has its own catalog of royalty-free music, but also everyone has access to Kevin MacLeod and uses him because every time I keep finding
you hear him on podcasts like or on vlogs every time.
Oh yeah, or like I had the freak out moment where like Movie Bob, he has like his In Bob We Trust series is his main series, and it's like he'll have that weird like Illuminati eye intro, and like the dramatic music's playing, and it's like bam, and all that shit's going on, and I'm playing fucking what's the game that you gave up on? Zenith. Okay, I'm playing Zenith, and it just comes up. I get to a room that's kind of dramatic, and the exact song comes up. Like, oh, that was another Kevin MacLeod song, I guess, because it showed up in a game. Like. And like there are other things that well, they make a bunch of just like fake promises, like we'll encourage your growth, and it's like it's like a weird empty promise where they don't have to do anything.
Yeah, we'll help support your channel. Is another.
It's always lies. They never help you in any way.
It's like good luck getting in contact with them.
Their entire business model is to sign up like 5,000 channels so they can collectively make money off of all of them while not actually doing anything. And it's always like. The MCN is secretly
kind of like how an insurance agency works.
The MCN is secretly like 4 people in an office somewhere that are just trying to, and all of them, none of them are to have jobs that are about providing services. They're all just about finding more people to get to before the other ones get them, because they're like
vultures.
They're like the fake princes and shit like that. They're like, give me your
Nigerian
bank
princes.
Account. Yeah, like they're basically Nigerian princes where they're just like. They're all just pretending to give a service, and they just want to get to all the gullible people before the other people get to the gullible people, so they can sap money off them if they ever actually make any money.
It's basically it's a beginner's trap.
Yeah,
is what
there's
MCNs
no reason
are.
To sign on to one unless you are a large channel.
No,
and even then, that's becoming less of a thing. Yeah, but it used to be that when you were a large channel, being a part of a network was how like you would do business to an extent.
It was how you did business. It was also easier to collaborate because everyone was a part of the same network.
There would always be like some sort of vague thing like a Channel Awesome or a Normal Boots or a Maker or a Polaris and things like that. Like clearly there were things that they would all come together and do projects. Yes, and it would affect their livelihoods in some way, but most of those have collapsed at this point.
I pretty much think all of them have collapsed.
And the functionality of what they did has largely gone away. And especially, like, it used to be some people claimed that these things would like deal with copyright issues for you or something.
Yeah.
In many quick cases, they were just like secretly soaking them up while not actually resolving any of them. And then the moment you left them, suddenly you're like, oh, here's all these copyright problems that I've always had and just didn't know.
Yeah.
And all my stuff's fucked up.
I remember that happened to Jesse Cox. Yeah. Actually, I remember him talking about that, where he's like, the moment once he left Polaris, he was like, wait, what? What are all these copyright strikes?
I thought you guys were doing something when you took a percentage of my money. Yeah. Like a double-digit percentage of my income.
Yes.
Well, just like more than taxes in some cases.
It's ridiculous.
Just to not do anything for you.
Yeah, it's all a scam. That's why YouTube started going around and being like, because I remember specifically
I've never joined a network and people keep pushing me to, and it's like there's no reason to.
There's never a reason to.
There's no reason to.
No. Especially so with like Patreon existing and stuff like that. There's no reason, because if you have a pretty successful Patreon, why would you need to get that YouTube money that quickly?
I've always kind of wondered if that's like part of if Wander runs into those issues behind the scenes too, because like Wander, he does have to deal with like an apartment where he supports there's another person living there and everything, so like his expenses are higher. And he doesn't have the Patreon following I do. But his channel is like 4 times the subscribers of mine now. Like, it's so massive.
You would have to see, what his...
Part of me wonders if, like, being with Curse Network and them taking a cut is, like, a thing that is one of the reasons why he still talks about, like, not being rolling in money yet, despite being 4 times my size. Maybe. Like, I always wonder... I should check if he's still with Curse, but he was with Curse, like, last I heard. And it's like, I don't know what they're doing for him, but they're taking a percentage of his money all the time.
I think my favorite part, or my pro tip for any young and booming YouTubers, is always go to, when you have an MCN that contacts you, and they say like, oh, we do this, we support all the whatever shit. Check out their YouTube channel. Because every MCN has a YouTube channel. Check it out.
They always claim they're going to promote you somehow, and then you look at them and like... Even while we were Sad Games in our tiny following, we look at the MCN that was trying to hire us, and they had even less following.
Yes, they had even less following.
So, like, even if they made a video promoting you, it'd be like, wow, 2 new people. I'm glad I signed a life debt with you.
Yeah. I would always do that. If the MCN you're trying to join or is asking you to join is less... like more or less than 100, like 150, 200,000 subscribers on the channel, not even worth it. Not worth
it's just single... people trying to get into a bubble, basically. Yeah, they're just trying to... They found an exploitable market that other people are doing, and they're like, pyramid schemes.
Yes.
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 Can't wait.
So, enough about YouTube backgrounds.
Now for more YouTube backgrounds.
Let's do...
Andrew's quitting Let's Plays.
Forever.
Endeavor.
Starting with Virtue's Last Reward. Like, we're never going to finish it. I'm just quitting right now.
We're still finishing our co-op stuff. And we're going to keep recording co-op stuff and podcasts.
That's what you think. I'm out.
I mean, you can. I can't stop you. If you just want to...
I mean, technically, I already am by leaving. But
I mean, like, you could just stop recording these things at any moment if you want to.
Yeah.
I can't make you.
No.
He's here of his own free will, folks. Never mind that I'm in his house. I was trying to segue to this back when I was saying, but I failed to. Back when I was saying, none of this is, like, spiteful towards Ninja. But, like, it's just that, like, watching the bizarre scales of shit and how it affects people's lives.
Yes.
Like, Ninja's life was changed. Like, very abruptly.
I mean, yeah.
And it's like, this was exactly what the hope was for a while, and never happened. Because, like, we've had multiple conversations before of, like, the idea of, like, if you could just do co-commentary as your job full time, like, fuck it, sure.
If I could just be Danny from Game Grumps...
yeah,
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Because you don't like doing it solo, but like you've clearly enjoyed doing it as a group thing. Otherwise, how the fuck have we gotten this far?
Yeah, I don't.
Because you keep doing it.
I am slightly masochistic, but not in that
that's
regard.
The game choice, though.
Yeah,
and also we get our own personal joy out of these Sonics in a weird way. It's just the wrong kind.
So he says.
Yeah, but like. That's been like the hope for the longest time.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh Jesus, can we just make enough money that this can just be a preserved thing?
Yeah.
And at some point, like you're making your own life decisions to like move to a different country and like break all this off and everything. And like I can't blame you because we started this shit in 2011.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like hold that a little longer, Andrew, and maybe it'll just work out.
Yeah,
it's like,
once you reach the decade, then it really gets good. It's like,
yeah, it sucks how much money is just the decider of life.
Yes,
and how much you people like. There's like an American like myth that you're just in control of your fate if you just work hard and stuff like that. And the reality is always like, no, you're kind of just stuck with like job markets and what's available and who they'll hire and all these other biases and nepotism and markets and shit.
Yeah,
and it's always a weird mess.
It's all centered around what must be taken from you to achieve what you want. Mm-hmm. So if I want to live in this state, in this house, in this country, I can't do YouTube because it's not making me enough money. I have to do another job.
Or there's just multiple optimum outcomes of like, if I want to make my job the way I'd like it to go, because right now I rent for a really low price. I rent a room in somebody else's house.
Yeah,
because that's their business model for paying off their mortgage is that they rent off rooms to other friends.
Really, what a real estate empire is.
Turns out, if you happen to have a house, if you happen to manage to get a house in our age group, then you're like one of the people that like won.
Yeah,
basically. And one of the great ways to pay off your mortgage is to like rent off the rooms to your friends that haven't managed to be that lucky, because nobody has.
Yeah, nobody has.
The whole wife and a dog and 2.5 kids in a suburban neighborhood thing has like that whole like, not
in my time period.
That whole concept has
like,
vanished over the last 30 years.
Yeah,
it's not economically feasible most of the time. But yeah,
especially not in this state. In California, it's just not feasible.
Like it's been a special kind of helplessness of like just watching my income grow at the rate it grows. I'm like, progress is being made. I can't like this. I shouldn't just abandon this. This is all like, this is a reasonable thing that can work out, but the timelines will never quite converge where it's like, and then I can set up an office with Andrew and we can just do this.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Well, you say that, but like, you know, at some point, a lot of bigger, like, you know, take PewDiePie, for instance, or Markiplier or any of them. It's like something like somebody throws a bolt of lightning down, and then suddenly your entire channel explodes in this fury of like subscribers. Every video is getting a million views.
I'll be the first to admit, I totally sent stuff into like the PewDiePie like shout out contests.
Oh yeah,
because I was like, fuck it. It would be kind of a bummer that I might get an influx of like the worst community of like people, but you just pull also could literally change my life.
Yeah. No, I mean,
just have a sudden influx of people.
And that's the thing is like you never know when it can happen because YouTube is so volatile like that, where it could just one day you could be like, oh, this month I didn't get like more than 100 subscribers, and the next month you're like, I had 15,000 subscribers. What happened?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you played that one game and you happen to be the one guy that shows up in the search results ahead of everybody else, and everybody clicked on your video, which led to more people finding your video, which led to more people going to your channel.
And then also like, whatever the algorithm feels like this week, and how ad rates are this month, and all these weird elements that
there's
go on.
There's a lot of weird stuff.
And also
involved.
Just how much are you willing to sell your soul to, like, because like the things that require being popular often involve just completely betraying whatever you were doing before.
Yes.
Like I have watched channels like completely transform themselves and appeal to a completely different demographic. Like I watched a channel that used to do like strategy games and like a bunch of slow things and just like all these in-depth games and like do like long series on them, and then they converted into like one of those channels that just does like the hot indie game of the week every single time. They have like Adam Sandler like bubble font and like a face and stuff like that, and suddenly they have like 1 million subscribers and their life's different, and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like it's the weirdest experience trying to like I am growing and my income's growing. I'm like, this could technically work eventually, but it's like it's amazing to watch how like just betraying what your channel is can just work.
But again, it's like it's a gamble still, because you could do all that and maybe you just aren't.
You just betray your audience and they'll hate you now, and also it didn't work.
Yeah, it also didn't work. Which is
I can't do it just because It's the same thing as why I can't be a waiter.
I was gonna say I can't really imagine you doing.
No, yeah, like this is like as much as somebody might be like, oh no, is he thinking about it? Like, no, I can't even be a waiter because I can't be like, haha, I'm acting and this is my pretend emotions with customers. Like, I can't even do that. Let alone like a whole career of like pretending to be this weird, over emoting, insufferable person that appeals to like 13-year-olds that have a lot of time. Those are the people that you make your channel grows like crazy if you appeal to really young people because they have so much time and watch so much YouTube, a lot of time. And people want to advertise to them constantly because everyone wants to advertise to kids because they're convincible. And it's like, yeah, play like Scrap Mechanic and Raft and Fortnite and whatever the latest colorful poppy game that's super popular this particular month, and just go whoa in front of a camera and be really hype about it, and like. And people tell me to do that. Like, I have definitely had people
just like, you need to be more active, you need to be more like upbeat and excited. And
it's those assholes that come in that don't care about your channel, but they're just like, I didn't like you, and here's why I'm going to explain why you should just be a different person instead of me just finding someone I like, which is the reasonable thing to do. And they'll like point me to like I think it was Cinnamon Toast Ken or someone.
Yes, probably Cinnamon Toast Ken.
Is that the person that plays Plants vs Zombies?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they pointed at me at him, and I'm like, be that guy. You should be more like him instead of you because you're an asshole or whatever the fuck. And it's like, I looked at this and I'm like, I hate this. I hate this.
Shots fired.
It's fine.
Cinnamon Toast, you're fucked.
I don't hate him. I don't know him. I just hate the thing he does.
Well, Cinnamon, if you ever want to do a collaboration, we hate you. Come by and do a collaboration.
It's just
with
watching
us.
People that do like this kind of like, it's like
it makes you wonder if by the end of the recording session how exhausted they are mentally.
God.
Like do they turn like once they go like, all right, thanks guys for watching, subscribe and all that stuff and click, and they're like, fucking
it's
done.
Just a particular kind of entertainment made for children that's like, it's like I loved Jackie Chan adventures when I was the target age back in the day, and then one day I went back to it and I just looked at it was on YouTube, like officially on YouTube, I think, like not even like a weird like bootleg copy.
I know it's officially on Netflix, I think.
And I just watched a little bit of it. I'm like, was Jade always just screaming?
Yes.
The voice actress is just screaming. Everyone's screaming. Why is everyone on the show screaming all the time? And it's not like screaming like when like they're falling or I mean, no, all of their lines are being screamed at all times. And like there's
except the grandpa.
He's kind of Jackie. Like there's plenty of that going on too. Well, but there's a lot of people screaming Jackie a lot in that show in particular.
It is kind of weird. It is weirdly egotistical.
To this day, I'll still quote Uncle.
I'll always
Kung Pao surprise, good for digestion, bad for everything else. It's like something that melted something. Like I think it melted a lock or something.
in my head, mine's always just the one more thing.
Yeah, the one more thing.
That's like there.
Yeah, which I was, of course, I have like a bastardized wrong version in my head of what all the syllables are, which I said in front of Carissa once, and she corrected me because she's Chinese. Because Carissa's actually Chinese,
I know.
So she would correct me about like lines from Jackie Chan adventures or like how to pronounce names from Dynasty Warriors. It's like, it's not fair. The people in the game don't pronounce it right. They call him Cow. They really do. They did it for 6 games.
Yeah, they do.
They never corrected it until Dynasty Warriors 6.
It's Cao
and Sao-Pi. Like, oh, that guy's named Cow-Pi. Or is it Cow Pie? They're both bad. Yeah. Neither of those is a great
I only know because when I play Nekojishi, it's a Taiwanese game. And so the names are so people would just like, I was pronouncing them Japanese style, where I was like, oh, I'll use the phonetics of the Japanese language to try to pronounce these. People are like, no, that is not how you. It's like, oh, okay. And they're like giving me these full historical lessons about like, it's Li Ao. It's like, it's a specific O, and the reason they do this
about you about the exact pronunciation.
And it's not that I was like I'll never say it the right way. I was
just like, how would you know?
How would I know? There's no
it's like when I get to all the names in Japanese games to just have pretend U's.
Yeah.
This is a U that isn't really there.
Yusuke.
And I'm like, but you put it there.
Sasuke. Sasuke.
I was gonna say, like, did you just say Yusuke? Yusuke is normal. Yusuke is fine.
No, because Yusuke has 2 U's.
That's fine.
No, it's not. It's not
fine.
Yusuke.
You're probably not gonna draw the wrong conclusion about how to pronounce it the way you would like Itsuki.
Itsuki?
Yeah.
Itsuki?
There's just a U in there for some reason, which reasonably you would pronounce as 3 syllables, but instead it just dooms me to years of comments about it. Just like how, like, you called a Raytheon a boy? It's like, because fucking Monster Hunter has, like, Nidoking and Nidoqueen, basically, that they're somehow different species, but different genders of the same species. I'm like... Everything else is a male or female of a thing. Why is this the exception?
Yeah.
What's up with the male and female that are completely different species in lizards in Japanese folklore? Like, what the fuck? Why does that keep happening? The moment you make that mistake, you're like, look forward to 12 years of comments forever. They just keep repeating it on the same video.
I still get comments on YouTube from that Star Wars MMO.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I still get comments.
That's like 2012 video. Everything else on the channel from then's forgotten.
Yeah, people still comment on there. It's like, thanks for posting this video. I would have never been able to finish the mission otherwise. I'm like, how do they not fix this in like fucking 12, like almost like 9 years?
Oh, is it the one where I made a video of like looking up the skirt of the weird flying robot?
Yes,
it's the only way to do the quest.
That one.
Wow, that's when we had so little identity on the channel that I would make like random. I would make guides sometimes, and you would make like character creator videos, which I think to this day,
ironically, both character creator video and the Star Wars one are like on the top 10 of the most popular videos.
The top video on Sad Game still like
no.
Hulk?
It's Tokyo Jungle now.
Is it Tokyo Jungle now?
Yeah,
it's an actual Let's Play. Hey, as opposed to being a weird random thing.
Yeah, I wish. I mean,
I'll take it. That the thing,
and then it became like the running joke, like more Tokyo Jungle. I'm like, never again.
I prefer it.
I mean,
I would prefer the top video on Sad Games being the type of content we usually made at the very least,
versus
instead of
Hulk
the one random time you made a character creator video of Hulk and everyone's like, that's not the right hair color, and then and that's, by the way, that's the secret to making YouTube videos that do really well, is you have to frustrate the audience.
Yes.
Like, I think that's why a lot of the people that people supposedly yell at the screen at when they watch their Let's Plays are so popular. It's because frustrated comments increase engagement.
Yeah.
And people just insisting on correcting and backseat gaming, like, that always promotes the content. So the more you find content frustrating and the more you act on your frustrations, the better that content does and the more money they make.
Yeah, that's also why a lot of review channels tend to work out really well, is because if you go into a review being more matter of fact about things, people will get upset at you for making like bold statements and will try to correct you or argue with you.
I dare you to look at Wanderbot's channel and look at the part ones, sort by most popular, and then go to the ones that are like part 1 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you'll find like there's the Fallout one. There's the Fallout one where everyone's just mad about the way he's doing his challenge run that he made up. And like they're frustrated with elements of that, and every single comment is just people being mad about it.
Yeah.
And then there's the Shadow Tactics one, is every single comment is people being mad about him not being good enough at Shadow Tactics, or the fact that he didn't specifically play like Commando. Like, I think he admits he didn't play some previous game in the video, which I guess was the inspiration for Shadow Tactics, and then people are mad at him for that for some reason. And like, he was like dismissive of Shell in part 1 of Abduction, so everyone's like white knighting Shell in the comments of that video. And like, there's so many separate videos where like it's just controversy.
Yeah,
like people are mad about something or arguing about something, and those are all of his most popular videos as a result. And it's like, it's such an observable pattern. And I'm like, do I need to manufacture controversy? Do I have to just make an infuriating part 1 of a video?
Yeah,
because like that's apparently how I get really popular. Like, one of my most popular videos ever is part 1 of Wasteland 2, and everyone's like, stop reading all the tutorials, because like the game has another tutorial like every 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah,
like, it just like, not sorry, that would be bearable. It has like another tutorial pop up every 30 seconds.
Oh,
it's like, you found another new mechanic, because it's a CRPG and it's explaining every single mechanic, and not like
at one time.
Yeah. the Pillars of Eternity tyranny way, like the way that company handles it, is that they have like World of Warcraft style pop-ups, and you can it's like,
you can close them when you're done with them and stuff like that.
Well, no, it's like I think they're gone now, but old WoW at least had a series of exclamation points on the bottom of the screen, and each one you would open them manually and then close them manually, and they just wait for you otherwise.
Yes,
and that's how Pillars and Tyranny handle their tutorial messages. Is there's like essentially like an inbox of them waiting for you in the corner, and you just open them when you feel like it. But I think the Wasteland paused the game.
Oh, okay.
Which is still also valid if you just want them to know that before they continue.
Yeah, but the problem is...
And I was reading the messages out loud, both so that people that are watching understand the mechanic, and also so that I can understand the mechanic. Yeah. And people are infuriated at that. And lo and behold, it's like almost the most popular video on my channel. I think Samarost might be ahead of it, but I'm not sure. But like it's up there above all the Dark Souls stuff because people were mad about something, and that always happens. It's
why 999 did so well.
Yes, 999 does so well as a series, and it's because people are just mad at us being mad at the game.
Yeah, I've been reading the new comments.
It's because every 999 has unprecedented amount of comments.
Yes,
like to this, like at this point, 999 was like a year ago.
Yeah,
and I've grown so much since then on my audience size and my comments and everything like that. And still, when I look back at 999, the number of comments on every single video is incomprehensible to me.
I'm surprised because Virtue's Last Reward right now doesn't really have that many.
Yeah. It's because nothing's happening yet.
Yeah.
You have to wait for stuff to start happening in that game.
I do read them,
We're going to get some comments because I think we're right around now, we're getting into the part where we get to the first escape room that's actually was time consuming.
Yes.
Which I think to this day might still be I think that's the hardest one of the whole game so far, right? Still?
The crew quarters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like segmented into so many separate rooms, and the main just puzzle opaque.
Yeah, the main puzzle was just like really vague and hard
like
to
later
understand.
on we got embarrassly easy puzzles. We're like
the rest of the game is
walking, like, oh, they wrote the password on the stairs. That was the whole puzzle. What? Like that was an actual escape room. And we turn the lights off, and all the password's just on the stairs. And we solve it in 2 steps. And you're like, no, you can't put it. No, we've been in visual novel land for 4 hours. You can't just put us back. Yeah. We just got out of it. No, we're gonna definitely find the gold files. We need more time. We need more time.
Half the time we would end up finding the gold files before we found the actual solution.
We would solve the harder puzzle first because
it felt right.
A reoccurring thing in that game is that the easy puzzle is so stupid that we bypass it entirely because it's too stupid, and we respect the game enough, even though we shouldn't. We still respect the game enough to think that the answer can't be that obvious, and we find a way better solution, and then find out that's the super secret solution, and we're like, what?
We put like 5% more extra effort into half the effort we give it as a normal game, and somehow that extra 5% is like, you did the hard challenge. Like, that was the hard part? Are you saying it's dumber to get the easier part? It's like, oh god.
I think 999 and Zero Escape both had like one room that was good, that was genuinely good, but so much of it has been like either the room is so incomprehensible that even after you solve it, you're like, what the fuck were they going for?
For 999, are you talking about the one where you build the robot?
Where you build the robot?
Where you build the mannequin?
That might have been all right. I don't remember 999 as well.
I'm trying to think of the room. Like, what room
I feel like one of the decent ones of Zero Escape might have been the garden. It might have been the garden.
Garden was like,
this is all right.
Garden's not bad.
There's some real bad ones.
There's some real bad ones.
The crew quarters was just a rough thing of like, what are they going for here? And why is this place built? And why do I have to run through between 4 rooms that look identical? Because this is a lot to parse.
Crew quarters is the most.
It was one where we got the solution, and I think we were still not entirely sure how the solution worked. Yes, we got it.
Crew quarters is one of the only main, like the only starting 3 rooms out of those starting 3 rooms. It's the only one that I would say is like expanded or like has more like work involved into it.
There's also I was shocked how big that one was.
Yeah,
none of the other ones ever turned out to be that big. They're all like one room.
Because then you have the I don't want to say what the other two.
Yeah, we're not going to actively spoil them, but like there were definitely spots like
the other 2 spots were like just one room.
You mean the other 2 like first ones?
Yeah, the other 2 first ones are just one room. You go in there. The big puzzle is literally something you can do instantly without having the actual components.
There was the weird command center place that had like stairs, where we like instantly saw the solution. And we're like, what? And then I think another one was actually like the food ration place was like, wait, no, it can't be over already.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah.
Like there's a reoccurring thing
Same
where, like,
with,
it can't be over already. There's no way.
Same with the laboratory. Laboratory is that way too.
Like for
when
context,
we went into the laboratory and we were just like, wait, you can just do this, and you just like did the thing, and it was like, it's done.
We're like, what?
Oh, we didn't. Oh,
And there's even times where it would look like there'd be a thing that had a puzzle on it, and it's like they scrapped the puzzle or something.
Yeah.
So that your characters would just solve the puzzle, and you're like, wait, what? I wasn't supposed to do something?
Yeah.
And like for context, we've been recording that game for 3 months.
Has it been 3 months?
We've been recording the game for 3 months now. It's due in part to the fact that we live an hour apart from each other. So I come here once a week and we record the podcast and sometimes a PO Box video. So that does take up a lot of the day.
Still though.
And then we record anywhere from like 2 to 6 hours of Zero Escape that week. It's just
6 hours.
It's highly variable.
It's like the most unbearable thing.
What's amazing is that we will have days where we record for like 4.5 hours and we don't reach an escape room.
We don't reach anything.
So we're just hitting A.
Yeah.
We have had days where the entire day is, we actually are starting mid-session from when we left off last time.
In the middle of a visual novel.
In the middle of an arc. And we're just pressing A and A and A. And we never reach a decision.
Nope.
And we never reach an escape room.
We had that
and eventually we literally stop because you're falling asleep after like 4 hours of recording.
Yeah.
And it's so late and we're like, nothing has happened.
We had that last week. Where we started,
just keep pressing
we started,
and I'm like, the whole game is just pressing A,
yeah,
and letting the story happen.
Well,
it's not even good for a visual novel because
No.
those are supposed to be about making decisions or something.
Visual novels usually are long-winded, but they're usually not.
Like we're in this era of like BioWare games and Life is Strange and like Detroit and like David Cage games and also visual novels. You're constantly like having a back and forth conversation with these people. Like I haven't bothered to sit through it, but I've seen glimpses of like Doki Doki where like you keep saying stuff to them back and forth and picking dialogue choices, even minor ones. In Zero Escape, you just press A.
You just press A.
And they're the least interesting possible decisions.
Yeah.
Because
the only decisions you make are like what door to go through.
Yeah. The decisions are never like, oh my God, who are you going to save? You'll never have a Walking Dead moment where like two people are grappled at the same time and you have to save one of them.
Yeah.
Like that kind of choice. Those scenarios happen all the time in that game, and you never have control over them.
Nope.
Instead, you only control, do you want to go through the blue door or the red door? And the answer is both, because you have to do all of them anyway.
You have to do every door anyway.
So the choices are meaningless because you have to make every single choice anyway to beat the game, but also the choices aren't interesting anyway, so even the preference of which one to do first isn't interesting.
Yep.
Like, you can't even be like, oh, this is the one I would canonically pick, even though I'm going to pick the other one afterwards because you have to. And then they're be like, how could you do that? It's like, because I have to pick all of them, is the real answer, and that's our reply every single time.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's literally a game where there's almost no decisions, and all of the decisions in it are the least interesting possible decisions amongst the entire genre. Absolutely. It is literally the bottom of the entire pit of the entire genre as far as how engaged you are in the choices you make.
Yeah.
And like everyone's giving shit to David Cage, and I'm like, I don't know how to exist in this bizarro universe where all my commenters are giving so much shit to David Cage for his writing and then praising the Zero Escape franchise in the other video on my channel for its amazing writing. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, I get it. He's not like, I agree. We would get a better commentary on race relationships in Detroit if, like, a black woman directed the game than some French dude that's never been to America, probably, and has literally never experienced racism.
I'm sure he's been to LA.
Literally, the entirety of how he interprets race is, like, he watched Crash and then, like, probably a Martin Luther King documentary and just recreated the scenes. Because I
Crash is the
especially
worst.
Since, like, by the way, have you seen Ex Machina?
No.
Because he just does an Ex Machina scene in the movie. When you meet when you meet a character, it's I'll talk to you. I'll explain better off camera later. But like, It is just Ex Machina in the middle of Detroit, and I'm like, he's just recreating shit. But but above and beyond all the shit that happens in every David Cage game I've played is just observably better than the shit that we put up with in Zero Escape.
David Cage games are not good quality stories.
No,
they're really
they're
shit.
At least give
they're
you,
not,
but they're engaging. And I don't mean like narratively engaging. Yeah. I mean like as a video game.
As a video game, there's like engagement. You do as the player.
Like people are like, he's
things.
just a failed film guy that just wants to make films. And I'm like, no, this only works because it's a video game.
Yes.
Like it's a stupid sequence when like that one lady is like fighting dream ninjas in her underwear in Heavy Rain, but like when you're playing, you're like, oh fuck, and then she like, if you fuck up, she actually dies, and you're like, oh shit, she actually died. Like then you can't take that back, and then she just wakes up from the dream because it was a dream sequence, but still like the struggle moments and the like make a snap decision under a time limit that affects the branching of the story, like that's all engaging.
Yeah,
his fucking metaphors are garbage, and his
stories are always shit, but at least you're doing something while going through the story. 999 just has a shit story, a shit game.
Like
and
I have
that's
fun playing David Cage games and Until Dawn in the moment. I'm like, yeah, let's do this. They're like, oh shit, what's going on with the bear head or the weird pig head? And oh, you got to go that way. Oh, or do I take the quick way or the long way when I try to save my girlfriend from the Wendigo and all this other shit's going on? And in Zero
Spoiler alerts, Keith. God, I didn't know it was a Wendigo.
Like, yeah. You're a drinking bird. You're a drinking bird for like 4 hours at a time. You're just fucking hitting A.
And for those wondering, that's why I do silly voices. Because otherwise I would be
just so you can feel anymore.
Fucking disengaged. I would be basically conked out.
If you want to feel about how long it's been since we recorded this, one of the first podcasts we did was called Zero Escape from Zero Escape, which is when we admitted that we were starting recording it.
Oh my god.
And this is like, I think we're on episode like 17 right now. Yeah, so think about that. This is like an almost weekly podcast. Usually weekly. We've only missed like twice. And when the podcast was starting, one of the first ones was like, yeah, by the way, we're starting Zero Escape, just so you guys can understand how fucking when I finally was
painful.
When I was finally like, hey, I'm going to start uploading Zero Escape, I selected all the files and I right clicked just to see how long it was, and it was 49 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're a visual novel. What the fuck? What's your, like, even if you like, just think about like, that's 100. If I did normal 30-minute episodes, that's already 100 episodes.
Yeah.
Like that's longer than most RPGs I've ever played on the channel, including Tyranny, a CRPG. Tyranny I beat in like 70 episodes. And it's literally all reading. You're just reading the dialogue in that game while also getting to pick branching dialogue.
Don't you have like
and Zero Escape is longer than Tyranny.
This game, man.
It's probably not longer than Pillars, but fuck, I shouldn't be comparing a visual novel to Pillars of Eternity. The game it's named after the concept of infinity. It's called The Pillars of Eternity. And you're like, yeah, Zero Escape's about as long as that.
I mean, Zero Escape.
Like even if,
Zero Escape is longer than a visual novel that has 6
actual
girls.
Choices.
Like 6 girls you have to go after, which means each girl has their own route, which means there's multiple choices and multiple endings for each girl. And like Shuffle is a good example. Shuffle is a very well-known visual novel. It's 80 hours maximum, and that's when 80 hours gets you hundreds of choices. It gets you 6 different girls at the end. And you get fancy, like, whatever cinematic at the end. Zero Escape gives you 50 hours. You get one choice. One. And you know what that choice is? To keep playing or not. That's your only choice in that game.
All you can do.
Is because you don't...
It's like Spec Ops The Line.
Yes, it's basically Spec Ops The Line. You get 50 hours, press A, no choices, and
not good escape rooms.
Barely any animation.
They're just not
by
good
the way.
Escape rooms. Oh yeah, the game does not animate it.
It doesn't animate anything.
They switched to 3D models clearly to make the game cheaper to make.
Yeah.
But they still don't animate any of the game. So it's still a bunch of people just standing around posed. Literally less effort than goes into your average like source filmmaker short on YouTube.
The worst part too, I would say, is that not only did they make it 3D to be cheaper, but somehow the animations for the 3D are worse.
Yeah. All they had to do, by the way, to make this better was just to all they had to do is let them walk around in a 3D space and like jabbermouth at each other a little bit. And at least then we'd have like a cast of characters and a sense of space akin to like what people are used to from like Final Fantasy games back in the day on the PS1. But they couldn't even do that. They couldn't even do like a PS1 Final Fantasy game of animation. Instead, it's just a bunch of still frames anyway that are taken from 3D models.
Yes.
Because it's cheaper. So it's like if somebody was like, I can't actually render this 3D space or like run it as a, you know, like a video game. So what I did is I just took all the assets, and in the model viewer I screenshotted them, and that's how the assets of this game work.
Yes.
It's like, it's really like, it's so weirdly cheap.
The escape rooms are the only times you actually have moving 3D environments, or I should say, the only time you have a environment.
I've never encountered like a cult following that's been more wrong.
I have all of them. But
what? There's a lot of fun cult followings.
Okay, well, like for one, Superbad, you guys are all
That's
wrong.
a cult following. There's one movie.
There's a cult following for that movie.
What?
For people who think Superbad is like an amazing film.
Weird.
And they're wrong.
I was thinking more in terms of like, you know, Evil Dead fans, as opposed to like whatever the fuck you're talking about. People who are wrong about a movie once.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cult followings that are just 100% wrong. That's more frequently. That's more often than not. Cult followings tend to be wrong than they are correct. And
there is a certain element of like, I've said this before too. I think it's just like the idea that like some cult followings thrive on their cult status specifically.
Oh yeah,
because like this game's like a vampire, and if you shine light on it, then it'll like its curse is broken. Like it
just turns to dust and vanishes in the wind.
It thrives on like appealing to like a bunch of weebs on the internet that like don't talk to larger culture or like get exposed to better content, and also they won't share this with other people, and then have those people be like, what the fuck? So like it'll just be their little secret that they like to themselves, and that's why they're so threatened and making super essays to prove us wrong whenever we threaten the thing they like, because for the first time it's being criticized, which they will never cease to remind us of, is how like this is the first time it's ever been criticized, and it won a writing award at IGN or some other dumb shit. It's like, great. So suddenly you care about the opinion of that guy, the people that you won't care about the opinion of every other time until the one time it happens to support something you care about. Like, yeah, great. It's in the 80s on fucking Metacritic. Good job.
I mean, if you want, I can make the Metacritic score go down. Would that be easier for you? Do you want me to just like literally spend my entire like remaining time in the United States building bots to go like review 999 in such a mass it lowers the Metacritic score to 0? Like, I will do it. Don't threaten me. I will go and lower that Metacritic score to fucking bare minimum. Like, I don't care. But like, you can't.
It's frustrating because they usually don't give an answer.
But
usually instead of addressing our criticisms, they're like, "No, you're wrong because other people agree with me." Which is like, but it's a cult status game with almost no exposure, and if it was exposed to a huger number of people, you get a whole lot more feedback.
Yeah,
I was so hungry for a video essay on this game. Like, I just wanted to find one of just some hero on the internet.
Some hero.
I just wanted to find some hero on the internet that really just went and just broke this game down, like detail by detail, and they don't exist. Because these games are so cult status.
Maybe there's a market that somebody could want filled.
There is no person who is like, I'm the person that's actually going to give a critical eye to the Zeroscape series. It's never happened. We are pioneers. We are the first people seemingly on the entire internet to even bother to criticize these games. Because all you get, like, if I look up anything, like I looked up one, was like, I was trying to find like, hey, let's look at an analysis of the ending of 999 or explanation or stuff, because I was trying to recap what happened there without having to replay the game and stuff. And the guy spent 2 minutes talking about the creator of the game being an absolute genius. And I'm like, fuck off. Holy shit, man.
My head, it's turning too quickly.
And then he proceeded to say largely incomprehensible things about the ending and like largely failed to really even explain what was happening in it, because he has such a loose interpretation of what even happens in the game.
Yeah.
Because it's such a mess. And then all while just like praising and just, oh man, he's so incredible. The amazing hero that made this game. He's just, the best writer in the history of video games. Like, and it's like the type of shit that I would say as a joke, it's sarcastically.
Yeah.
He's just saying unironically. And all the comments are also just all so fucking, and I'm just like, what is happening?
Did you see
what is happening? There's not even one dissenting voice.
No.
How the fuck? This has never happened in the history of the internet. It can only happen in a completely isolated bubble. And you only get a bubble like that when nobody else is, like, when there is no larger culture exposing to it. Like,
well, you think
all
about
the people that are like, oh no, it's so sad how he's struggling to make the third game because nobody plays these games and they're so struggling. It's like, no, you don't understand how good you've had it, because if more people played these games, your entire perception of reality would shatter as you realize that it's actually been garbage the whole time and just no one was there to tell you. What are you looking?
Yeah, so like the Steam page says that this is a very positive game with a whopping 446 reviews.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, that's
Look
incredible.
at that.
400.
Like half the indie games I play that seem like no one's heard of them, like those games have like 1,000 reviews. Zero Escape on Steam doesn't even have half 1,000 reviews.
Shit, someone said something negative.
There's a thumbs down.
I find it impossible to suspend your belief.
Yeah, he says it wrong. He says suspension of disbelief wrong.
I find it impossible to suspend your belief about the game if you have even a basic understanding about consciousness, quantum mechanics, or science. Okay, well, let's not get fucking let's not get head up your own ass over here.
Oh no, is this going to be an r/I am very smart post?
Yeah. The plot hinges on pseudo-scientific and dualistic... Okay, I'm not going to do this with you. All right, look, I was hoping you're going to be a dissenting voice of...
Oh no,
goodness,
he's insufferable. Look at every word choice he uses.
Every word choice.
You got to finish reading it because it's a work of art. You could frame this review.
The plot hinges on pseudo-scientific and dualistic rubbish. So don't expect much if you have a scientific or... What was that, materialistic? Materialistic philosophy. The writer Kotaro I can't read it from here. Is full of shit. That's his dissenting voice, and he has 40 hours on it. Excuse you.
It's Kotaro Uchikoshi.
He did not play both 999 and Virtue's Award because it would not take you 40 hours to do both of those.
It does if you just start pressing A.
Then
faster.
Then you did not read the story.
He might have only done 999.
My favorite is this...
A sane person would stop after one of them.
This person who has 110 hours on record who said, God bless the flowchart. Positive review.
He also got a key. I wish I got a key for the game.
Yeah, he got a key for free. He also... 52 people found that review helpful, which I do. I find that it is helpful to show me why I would never buy this game. Because this man is excited about a flowchart.
You notice how they stopped telling you what percentage of people found it helpful? They just said the raw number now.
Yeah.
Now like 80% or 10% or whatever. Seems like a weird change, right?
Oh man, this guy up here though was
then I was just showing likes basically.
Similar games, Danganronpa, The Room. Danganronpa's by the same company, you asshole! Like, you can't say Danganronpa's a similar game when it's made by the same company, which probably has the same people working on it. Oh my god, there are some more dissenting opinions.
Yeah, there are.
Are you trying to increase the size?
Yeah, I forgot it wasn't a browser, so I tried to zoom in.
Right click on it.
Yeah.
And then go to copy page URL. And then just open it up in Firefox. Paste and go. Ah! Thank you. My poor blindness. You gotta go back to negatives.
This has become entirely masturbatory at this point. We're just I can't wait to look at the negative reviews of Zero Escape.
So let's look at this guy. I will only recommend this game. Go up. I will only recommend this game to a very specific group of people who desperately want to have their time wasted and have no problem dealing with the morning after regret. Have an inhuman level of tolerance for verbose and childish writing, believe in pseudoscience, and don't even bother looking up the validity of it, are easily persuaded and believe whatever bullshit people throw at you, can turn a blind eye to any ridiculous plot hole and Deus Ex Machina scenario as long as the story moves forward. Don't mind their elaborative faculty being questioned and taunted by the devs again and again. If you find yourself fit in at least 4 of the categories above, go give it a try. You may have an incredibly fun time with this game. Otherwise, you may just end up like me, tortured by regret and fury for all the wasted time and anticipation. I know Japanese visual novels, also Japanese literature in general, are well known for verbose writing. I had this in mind before stepping into the game. However, its excessive verbosiveness is still overwhelmed me somehow. You might think I am exaggerating and overreacting at this point, so to sufficiently prove my points, I'm going to give a demonstration of 2 techniques used in this game, I'm going to give a demonstration of 2 techniques used in this game. 2 techniques that stretch this game from a story that could have been properly told in 5 hours to an endless marathon.
It really could have been told in easily 5 hours or less.
Wow, these are very long.
Yeah, this is actually a really long review. Holy shit.
You're getting a little extreme here.
I'm surprised by the reoccurring thing of people negatively reviewing while complaining about pseudoscience.
Yeah, I don't know. What the fuck? It's fake. It's fake science.
And also, the pseudoscience is like the premise.
Isn't that the?
It's literally the premise of the thing is like the consciousness stuff. Like, do you never listen to nonfiction? Do you never do nonfiction? Like,
I think the problem he's talking about is the fact that even within the realms of the pseudoscience,
it's like nonsensical.
It's nonsensical.
But like that's the second review to be like pseudoscience therefore bad is like a weirdly like how they phrase it.
Yeah,
especially the first one.
I don't care about the pseudoscience aspect. Like morphogenic fields,
you can make up your story. It's fine.
Yeah, like morphogenic fields, I don't really care about. The problem is when you say morphogenic fields and then negate morphogenic fields in the same fucking breath.
It's
We're
more
like,
that, it's more
we
that,
all talk to each other on
the way that they handle morphogenic fields makes it the least interesting way to structure a game.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Well, no, but they negate it by simply...
And someone might think we're being a hypocrite here because of our reaction to June, but that was our reaction to June as a character.
Yeah.
The problem with that part is that 999 June was just spouting pseudoscience at us, and at that point in the game,
without any provocation, we didn't ask her for pseudoscience. At that point
in the game itself had not set up the idea that any pseudoscience was real in its universe at all.
Yeah.
Really. And instead, it was just June kept saying pseudoscience to us, and no one else was.
Yeah,
over and over again, like 4 times in a row.
Lotus talked about the.
I think she talked about the dog.
Yeah,
photo
the dog
thing.
photo thing.
But June goes like really insistent about it.
Well, June, I mean, she better be. She's literally the one only surviving right now because of pseudoscience.
Like even Lotus, I think, was like, "Oh yeah, I heard a story about this once," and whereas June was like, "You don't believe me," and like she was like kept pushing it and was like making a really big deal about it and like being hurt that you wouldn't believe her and stuff like that.
She's like one of those crazy people.
So at the time we were like, "June, you're fucking insane," and I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sick of June now," like all that commentary, but like. We were interpreting that as being her character.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, June's insufferable. Not, oh no, that's the game's premise.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know that the game was super inelegantly setting up all of its twists by having people talk about them for no reason.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I don't know how anyone could not think that's not terrible writing. Is that like every time you go into an escape room in 999, people just interrupt the escape room for 20 minutes of dialogue about like, Ice 9 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And like they kept being like, we're just gonna weirdly do a lore dump about something that has nothing to do with anything. It has nothing to do with my character. It has nothing to do with the room we're in. It has nothing to do with anything. We're just weirdly throwing it in here for no reason. And then when the ending comes up, it's like, wow, all those things we set up are paying off. I'm like, that's not how setup and payoff works.
I think the worst one was when 7 was like, let me tell you about this frozen mummy. And I was like, how do you not remember anything about your life? But goddamn it, you retain that knowledge of that frozen mummy. Relevant happens to be relevant to this topic.
999 does not understand what a Chekhov's gun is.
No,
like a Chekhov's gun is a gun that actually exists. It's not a random bathroom conversation about the concept of firearms, and then a surprise, there's a gun later. Like, no, you see a gun, and then the gun comes up later.
Yeah,
that's Chekhov's gun. Like in Zero Escape. Example I can't say yet, never mind. But that one really
What about 999? You can't think of one for 999?
Well, I was just thinking like Zero Escape is like exclusively Chekhov's guns. Every time you reach the end of the flow chart, they're like, wow, weird things happening, ending. And you're like, what? And then and then you spend the next 40 hours like, is that ever going to come up again? God, it's never going to come up ever again because it was one of the endings. So it can only come up in the ending. Yeah. So like they're going to set it like infuriatingly. Zero Escape's going to set up like 20 Chekhov's guns, and then the last 6-hour marathon of pressing A is going to be like every gun firing, and I'm like, it's going to be so infuriating.
I like how the ending of Zero Escape is always just a military funeral. Like it's just a bunch of people holding guns and like blah 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 blah, blah 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 blah. It's just guns going off.
Without explaining what it is exactly. Yeah, there was the one ending where we met a character that we were talking to.
Oh,
and it abruptly gets cut off. And
Yeah.
then every time, ever since then, I'm like, when's that gonna come up again? That was kind of a big deal. And it just, we're dealing with the infuriating feeling of like playing for 40 more hours while it never comes up because we're playing parallel timelines and our character does not retain information from timeline to timeline.
But he does, but he doesn't.
He does once every 15 hours. And only then. He usually can't retain information from 5 minutes ago in his own timeline, which is get ready for that when it comes up. Won't spoil that.
It's very hard not to spoil this game because there is so like somehow it's almost like he took a challenge, like he took a drinking challenge where someone was like, "Hey, I bet you won't make a worse story than 999." He's like, "I will fucking bet you I can," and he did it. Virtue's Last Award is somehow taking 999. And then giving it steroids and becoming worse.
I feel like if I were to try to like do a very lazy fix of this game, I would like have somebody play to the ending once, and then you only play like the final chapter of each ending over and over again, and just skip everything in the middle because it's all just wasted and it's all repeat. Like
you could
like there's a central crisis that happens during the middle part of the game, and you just have to re-experience that entire phase like 12 times.
Yeah.
Like that ongoing thing happening just over and over again. And it's like, when they make like the All You Need Is Kill graphic novel or the Live, Die, Repeat / Edge of Tomorrow movie and stuff like that, there's a part where they do a montage.
Yeah.
It's like they establish that you're looping and then they do a montage and then they get to like the ending-ish part where now we're going to act on it and progress. Because you know what? Living the entire loop over and over again is actually kind of agonizing.
Yeah. That's like, why remember watching Groundhog Day and there was that thing.
You live Groundhog Day in this game.
Yeah.
And it's not a benefit.
But here's the difference is that unlike Groundhog Day, one, it's not funny, but two, also
the character's not experiencing the loop.
No, it's just you.
You're not even putting us in the shoes of the character because the character, unlike Groundhog Day and All You Need Is Kill, is not experiencing the loop.
Yeah.
So like they're not starting the day over and over again and because oh no, what's happening? Or like the Star Trek episodes in Next Generation and Discovery where the ship blows up after an hour.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, I only have 15 minutes to stop the ship from blowing up, and they keep failing like 10 times in a row until they finally do it right. Like that person knows what's happening the whole time, and even in those versions of the story they still montage it and skip tons of shit because of how boring it is to rewatch all the stuff that we know doesn't change. But this game, you play a character who does not experience every loop, but you have to.
Yes.
From front to back like 12 times.
Yeah.
Or 18 times or some incredibly long amount of forks.
There are 16 or not 16. There's I think there's
so many moments where it's like, oh, that's the part where that happens, and then you're like, then once after the first couple times you start to realize, oh, we're gonna see that every time.
I think there's 16 endings,
and we're gonna see the same conversation about it every time.
Yeah. The worst part too is that
like at this point I just button mash every time the robot voice comes on.
Oh, yeah.
Every time the announcer comes on to explain everything, because we know the structure of the game already, and she will take 30 seconds to say those lines. So I'm like, hey, all right, back to dialogue.
Also, we're at the end of the game, and it's still doing the exact same rules to us again, which is great, because there's nothing more fun about playing a game with rules than finding out the rules at the literal fucking end of the game. Great.
And people keep commenting, like, the one comment... I keep holding myself in reserve in a lot of the comments I see on
You're trying not to scream at people?
Yeah. Because, like, especially the one where the person's like, what kind of game would give you all the rules in the beginning?
Every game.
Literally every game.
Could you imagine if you were playing baseball, you hit the ball, and someone stops the game and goes like, by the way, you have to run to the base. And the person's like, wait, right now? It's like, that guy just caught the ball. Well, no, now you're out. It's like, wait, so now I get out.
Most importantly, when you're playing a game that's going to loop on time, if you explain all of the rules before the loops start or then decision branches happen, then you get to not deal with them ever again.
Yeah.
But instead, if they wait until after the first decision to explain stuff, which is what they do with like how penalization works or how the AB games, what they actually mean ultimately, like that kind of shit, you get to have that explained to you 3 times because you do those 3 branches.
Yeah.
But then there's another couple of rules that wait until the part of the flow chart that's like 8 branches. So that means you get to see that part like 8 times, and you're like, fuck me.
Yeah, you end up learning. I think it's like 4. I think it's 4 rules in total. Like there's 4 times they explain rules to you,
and they keep getting later in the game.
They keep getting,
and every time it's later in the game, that means that more branches happen in that timeline where you have to relearn that rule.
And so the idea is that after every escape room, there is another rule to learn, and that's like the most awful thing ever because, like you said, the further you go down in the flow chart, the more paths there are.
The more separate branches there are.
The more branches there are means the more times you're going to hear the same fucking rule to the point where you go like, I don't even know when I'm going to experience this rule be enacted because I've heard it like 7 times. I've never seen anybody actually die from the goddamn rule.
And I'm just sitting here like, guys, like, okay, homework, like play Stories Path of Exiles, play Omen Sight, watch the episode of the looping exploding ship of Star Trek in Next Generation and Discovery, watch Groundhog Day, watch Edge of Tomorrow / Live Die Repeat, watch Lolo Rent or Run the Little Run, which is the English name.
Like by the way, this guy didn't invent...
Not only has the storyline been done better in the past, it's almost exclusively been done better in the past.
Yes.
Every iteration of it that's ever been made that I've ever found is better.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a hard story to do well. That's what I was
gonna say. It's like it's not like he's some genius who created the most amazing time-looping story because everyone else did it better somehow.
Yep.
Groundhog Day is from like the fucking 80s. Come on, dude.
Yep.
You're telling me in the 80s some guy made a better fucking time loop story?
The idea of somebody time looping and remembering stuff from the other time loops is like not a new concept.
It's not.
And it's way more thrilling as a 40-minute thriller episode of Star Trek than it is in a 50-hour morphogenic field-a-thon.
I think there was an episode of Fringe that had time looping.
Probably.
And it was probably done better, and it had pseudoscience involved, so it's not even unique.
It's a fun idea to do for like 45 minutes.
But that's the thing, is like, there's nothing about 999 that is unique or interesting that's like, you're like, a genius. I can't believe he came up with that idea. It's like,
no.
I can, because I've watched media in my life before.
And he also keeps just name dropping all of his concepts, like outright. Like when Quentin Tarantino is known as being like this remix master of using all this older forms of filmmaking and like taking inspiration from them and making his own version of that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like Django and all that other stuff. Or, you know, well, every movie he makes basically. Like he like when he's like, here's my Japanese movie and here's my Western and stuff like that. He's not literally turning to the camera to explain to you what the inspiration source is, but like you'll walk into a room and just pick up a book on Schrodinger's cat or pick up a book about like the prisoner's dilemma just in the middle of Zero Escape, and you're like, fuck off. Let's talk about the ship of Theseus. We're going to explain in great detail what the ship of Theseus concept is. I'm like, God.
There is such an interesting level. I think the thing that makes me laugh the most is that the game itself treats the player like they are a fucking rock. Or like we went to the library
and literally found Sheldrake.
Yes. That was great.
There was the Sheldrake library in the game with Sheldrake books.
Specifically a Sheldrake library. There's literally a section.
There's a whole shelf of just volumes of Sheldrake.
Just only that.
Like, God damn it.
The thing that impresses me is that all the people who are arguing that 999 and Zero Escape as a whole is just such a great series are people who also get upset when we say things like, oh, he's an idiot. He thinks you're an idiot. That's why he puts that shit in there. He puts Schrodinger's cat in there because he's saying, get it? Like Schrodinger's cat. And you're like, oh my God, like I would have never put the comparison together because like I'm incompetent.
All the time that the game's really patronizing and in its tone of the way it explains stuff is because it thinks that that's how smart you are.
Yes. He's not smart.
Probably why it's afraid to ever let you actually make actual choices or have to like solve puzzles where you need to understand these philosophical concepts at all. Yeah. Like, no, you could literally not understand any of what's happening in the story, and you'd still get through it and beat it because you don't have to understand it or make decisions based on it.
And you can argue,
at least in Detroit, I have to make decisions based on how the universe works in the game, as opposed to just blue door or red door.
And the argument that the key argument I'm going to throw a red card on now, before all of you assholes go and start throwing it around, is I don't care if the game is made for kids. I don't care if the target audience is younger. What matters?
Because y'all aren't.
Because y'all aren't kids. Yeah, y'all aren't kids.
You're the one saying it's good.
But you're the one saying it's good.
Keep pushing it to play it.
And you know who's not saying it's good? Kids who didn't play it because kids didn't want to play it.
Popular with kids.
No. So surprisingly,
kids don't want to talk about the prisoner's dilemma.
Surprisingly, kids don't care about morphogenic fields
or boring games that take place in one warehouse for like 50 hours. You don't even have a spiky hair or stab a dragon. you just talk to some woman a lot.
This isn't Mario. Where's the game? Like,
and he's like, oh, this game's so highbrow. Is that why fucking Alice is wearing a golden hoop for clothes? Because it's so highbrow.
Yeah.
Remember the promotional material? Oh yeah, I remember the promotional material. It was a really intense simulation where you and other players online had to sit in a cell and reenact the prisoner's dilemma. No, you slap Clover's butt.
No, you slap her tits.
You slap her boobies until a door opens, and you got to click real hard if you want to see the super boobs. Like that's the promotional material for this game is clicking on Clover's boobs, who is barely of age and wasn't of age last game.
No,
that's how on the margin it is.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, this is for adults. This is some highbrow shit where we're going to talk about philosophy and shit. It's the boob slappy game where you slap the boobs.
Here's the thing: I don't care if you like the game. I don't have any problem with you liking a shit game, but you cannot come after me and be
just
like
all the people trying to prove us wrong, but not in ways where they actually like. They almost never actually defeat our arguments in any way.
No,
they just like appeal to like a bunch of fallacies about like its other success or praise elsewhere and shit like that, or just try to subvert us by being like, Keith would have liked this if Andrew wasn't there, or they just don't like it because they don't pay attention. I saw this one part in the video where they misremembered one thing. That means they got everything wrong.
I also like the people
you mispronounced phi.
Okay, I want to address this right now.
Like there was a moment where I was like, wait a minute, was the phi the symbol that was on that one door, which was the Q?
Yeah,
and they're like, it's staggering how confident they misremember things. I'm like, it was 6 months ago, and it was some obscure symbol that only made sense as a pun in Japanese. I'm sorry if I misremembered what it was.
Also, I want to point out a couple of things. One, I mispronounce Phi's name all the time, and that's on purpose because I spitefully hate her. I call her Phi because Phi sounds like Phoebe, which is a completely stupid name to give her.
I thought it was because Phi sounds like the annoying character that people don't like from Zelda.
No, I'm calling her because she's the annoying character from Friends.
Phoebe?
Yeah.
Phoebe was my favorite character on Friends as a kid.
That's unfortunate. My favorite character was the TV not being on. That was my favorite Friends character.
I liked Phoebe and Ross.
Ross was the worst human.
I think I did pick the worst characters as a kid.
Ross, no, I mean like Phoebe. Phoebe is not.
Isn't Ross a bad person?
Ross is an awful human. He is the worst.
Like when I looked back at Friends and my reaction to it, I was like, what was wrong with me? Why didn't I like Joey like everyone on the planet?
Or Chandler?
Yeah, like
the guy who makes
the two
jokes?
characters on the planet that everyone liked. I don't know why I was just like Phoebe. I just was like having fun with lol random Phoebe for some reason. Like I sucked as a kid.
I mean, no, I sucked a lot.
I think I read a breakdown at one point where there was just people talking about like Ross just actually is just a bad person throughout the game.
His entire prerogative on the show is to entrap Rachel to be with him forever.
I think the one thing people agree on is no one likes Rachel.
Well, she's an idiot.
I think I just remember her being like mean. Wasn't she just mean or something?
She wasn't mean. She was actually just being like she was just trapped in a cycle of people just basically treating her poorly.
Oh wait, was Rachel with the blonde hair?
Yes. You're talking about Courtney Cox.
I was thinking of Ross's sister.
Yes.
That's why I was a little confused. I'm like, wait a minute, you're saying to get with Rachel. I'm like, wait a minute.
No, Rachel.
Courtney Cox was the character that was like, you're just not supposed to like her, right?
No. She's awful.
Yeah.
She's a mean person.
She's just a very not good person.
Well, she is the sibling of Ross, who is not the best person on the planet.
Oh, man.
The finale of that show. Do you know what the finale of that show is?
Wasn't it them like finally flying off on a plane together or some shit? Or
Rachel is like, I'm going to get my life together. I'm going to go fly to Africa and I'm going to take care of children because that's what I want to do with my life. And
Ross is like, no.
Yes. And Ross says, don't fucking do that or I'm going to be super sad. And I'm like, and she literally gets guilt tripped into giving up her dream and staying with Ross. I was so mad. As a kid, I watched that show, and I was like, why didn't she leave? Why would she stay? And my parents were like, because they love each other. I was like, that's not love, that's abuse. Like,
so literally the opposite of what Scrubs does.
Yes.
Because Scrubs on a regular basis is like, I really like you, but my career is taking me this way. And they'd be like, where did I go wrong? I lost a friend. And then like some character leaves the show forever because they're going after to chase their career.
Which AKA means I want to be on a better show. I don't want to be on Scrubs. But no, seriously, Friends.
Which show do you think it would age better if I went back to it? Scrubs or Friends?
Friends.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I liked Scrubs a lot when I was a teenager.
Here's the problem with Scrubs.
I watched, because I constantly watched Friends when I was like, probably like 8 to 12 age.
Yeah.
And I watched Scrubs constantly. I don't know which one I said now. I watched...
You watched Friends
the timeline can only work one way because Scrubs didn't exist yet.
You watched Friends when you were 8 to 12.
Yeah,
Scrubs when
Scrubs
you were...
like all my like middle school, high school years. Yeah. And I fucking loved that show.
Here's the problem.
I've never seen it a single time since.
I tried watching Scrubs because Naya was talking about it. Her and her husband were going and rewatching Friends.
Because Scrubs has those moments like Futurama and the other set in Full Metal Alchemist where it's like, in one line, you could just say the thing that triggers the horrible feeling you had from that one episode.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think we are? Like, no! Yeah. Brendan Fraser! Or the other ones are like, what is it? The song from, I actually, like, laughed hard enough to get teared. Or something like that. Or I yelled loud. I might have just yelled loud enough. Was it the other ones are was it the Seymour song?
Oh yeah.
Or what is it? Edward and stuff like that. Like there's just fucked up lines. Or wake up, Leela, wake up. It's like no.
Yeah. Here's the thing: is that Friends works for a long time simply because the show is about the people. And I don't mean the people as in the characters on the show. I mean about the concept of people. Mm-hmm. It's like the most very bare bones, like, this is trope A, this is trope B. They do these trope things, and you have one in your life. One of these tropes exists in your life.
They just keep coming up with scenarios, and then their somewhat diverse cast of personalities would all react to said scenario.
Yes. And so it can go through time. Yeah. But Scrubs doesn't. Scrubs has a lot of meta humor at times. It has a lot of humor that's sometimes relevant to the current topic going on at that time period. Mm. There's like humor. There's like certain things that are relevant, like that are.
Scrubs is like one of the only shows that ever made me laugh at a slapstick.
Really?
Like a physical comedy happening in an episode. Which is like I think it was JD was driving a scooter or a Segway or something, and he's like, "Oh, it's a puddle!" Like that, like he's gonna like drive through the puddle, like that little joy.
Yeah.
And then he just, boom, in underground, like it's a tunnel underground, and he comes out of another puddle down the street. And I'm like, "All right, you got me." I was like, I wasn't fucking ready for that.
I think Brooklyn.
That wasn't CG.
I think Brooklyn. Yeah. I think Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the only time. Yeah, I think it's like Brooklyn Nine-Nine was the first time I actually laughed out loud while watching like an American, like a live action comedy.
You never even laughed at Psych? A lot of time you watched that show?
I like Psych, but I never laughed at it.
How'd you put it up with this? How'd you put up with this for so long? Then?
I mean, I also watched all of Monk too.
Oh.
So I've
like never watched any of these shows.
I just kind of like it, so the reason I watched Psych and Monk was because it was during a time where like I couldn't watch certain anime because I couldn't find downloads for it. So there was like huge gaps in time.
So you just put up with some show you don't like.
Yeah.
That much
Well, it's not that I didn't like it. They're just not funny in that way. I don't like my type of humor is very like extreme reactionary. Like the only kind of thing that animation can pull off. I don't like like a lot of human humor where it's like, I fell down the stairs. I'm like, what are you, fucking dead? Because that's what would happen. You'd fucking die if you fell down the stairs. Are you like, you would be dead.
Slapstick's rough. Like people always link like clips from like
Three Stooges or something.
No,
like,
Spaceballs.
Oh, God.
And I'm just like, I literally like I watched all of Spaceballs and didn't laugh a single time.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm confused. I'm confused why people love this movie. So is it just because it's Star Wars?
Yes.
Is that the only reason?
Yeah.
Like if this was not a parody of Star Wars, but was just like a comedy, like Star Wars didn't exist, then like would anyone like it?
Probably not.
And like,
because all the jokes are relevant to Star Wars, so you're laughing at.
And is it that funny that like the Vader is like has a giant helmet and is like some stereotypical like Jewish actor type dude as opposed to like.
Excuse me, that man is a celebrity. He was on Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
and and also the better movie.
No,
you should have mentioned instead.
Oh, you're right. Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. Or do you want
Honey, I Blew Up the Baby?
Or do you want Honey?
That was the third movie.
Or do you want Honey, I Shrunk?
They made that.
They also did
the one where there's a giant baby.
Yeah,
they're also remaking that. I think they're bringing back Honey, I Shrunk the Kids right now. Yes.
Are they really?
Yes. No, but the correct answer.
I lived too long. I need to die.
Do you not remember the correct answer?
Are you talking about Flubber?
Was he in that movie?
I think he was in Flubber.
That was Robin Williams.
I thought he was also in Flubber. I thought he was the guy trying to find.
Oh, wait, was Robin Williams was Flubber a remake of another Flubber?
No. Robin Williams was the guy who created Flubber, but I think
the correct answer is Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh,
lunatic! What the fuck? What the fuck?
It's
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You fuck. Yeah, look, everyone loves quoting that movie.
Look, all right. First off, it was a ride at Disneyland for like 12 years.
Can you remember a single scene from that movie?
Yes.
I can't.
What?
I can't.
I remember
when I try to think of that movie, I just think of Small Soldiers.
I remember. God damn it! I hate Small Soldiers. I hate that show, or I hate that movie so much. Small Soldiers is an insult to like. Just everything. It just insults every waking facet. It is.
I was always taken aback by how violent that movie was.
That movie is
children.
Super violent.
I think there's a part where like someone's being shot by a nail gun by a toy, and I'm like, that's just a child full of nails right now in your movie. Like, it's not. This isn't Chucky. This is like a children's movie.
Yeah. There's also
supposed to be like, oh no, they're gonna get us, and like he genuinely gets full of nails. I'm like.
Yeah, there's also a scene where they chase a child with a lawnmower that's turned on its side with the blade spinning out, and I was like, "Yo, that's
burp,
no
Charlie burp."
Yeah, I was like, "That is no joke. That could kill somebody. Like that is dangerous as fuck." That movie was not okay, and it started out like. It's hard too because you can't even root for the hero.
I feel like we should watch a bad movie on purpose and spoil it. Just spoiler cast a weird, like either a weird 80s thing or like some sort of shitty like young adult dystopian series, like God. Maze Runner.
Oh God!
And like spoiler cast that instead of continuing to like do like what's the new superhero movie? What's the new Star Wars movie? We should just like go shit on some like
some cult classic like 999.
Just the lowest hanging fruit.
Do you want to? I mean,
be the dumbest.
Do you want to watch like an actual indie movie that is like the best?
What are we going for now?
Jesus Christ, Vampire Slayer. It is. I watched it. The best. Literally the best movie I have ever seen.
Is that a spinoff of Abraham Lincoln Zombie Slayer?
No, it came out. It was an indie film. Came out like way in the 80s.
I mean, there's weird stuff. We can watch Hobo with a Shotgun. There's Rubber.
I've seen Hobo with a Shotgun.
Rubber. Have you seen Rubber?
Yeah.
It's that was a waste of time. That was really boring, actually. That was just really boring. We watched Troll 2 on purpose a few years ago.
We did.
Which I'll never be quite taken aback. I'll never quite get over the fact that, like, there's the 100 other things people talk about. But the weirdest thing is that the main characters have, like, a couple of friends that have, like, a side story that the movie just forgets about.
Yes.
Like, they're just in scenes for a while, all the way up until almost the ending. And then I think they get to an RV.
Yeah.
And then you never see them again.
Nope.
The movie just forgets that they were in the movie. And it's like their whole plot line's just dropped. It's the most like
I still can't.
Everything else is like minor weird things in the middle of the movie about how it's bad acting and it's all a result of like how the actors and the director didn't understand each other. They spoke different languages and shit. But like the basic structure of the movie just forgets about one of its plot lines. And it just goes away.
I still think my favorite. There's two things in Trolls 2.
It'd be like as if Finn just disappeared halfway through The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And you never saw him again.
Yeah.
And they just forgot he
existed. It is really weird. I think my two favorite things in Troll 2 is everyone's favorite, which is the oh my god.
Oh my god.
But the only reason I like it is because of that fly on his head.
Which lands on his head.
Which he just acts through.
No, it's just fucking hot and depressing in that room. But he just want to get it over with.
But like a trooper, he continues to act through it without batting an eye with that fly on his face. He doesn't even
react to it.
The second thing that's my favorite is when the kid wastes food and he's like, you can't waste food around here, and then the dad like looks like he's gonna take his belt out to hit the child, and he just tightens.
I'm tightening my belts to push back the hunger pains. And I'm like, who talks like that?
I was like, what? You're not gonna beat him. You're just gonna tighten your belt in front of him. Like you're gonna make him feel just bad.
Weird, pointless details. Like, don't they come into town and like the street name is like Goblin?
It's Goblin spelled backwards.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like Nilbog, right?
Yeah, it's like
Nilbog. It's like, why? Just why? It's more why would it be called that?
It's more confusing.
And why is the movie called Troll if everyone's a goblin?
That's the key.
Why is it called Troll 2? That there wasn't a first
because
one.
You can't call a street Lolt.
But like it was clearly always meant to be goblins, and they just decided to call it Troll for no reason after the movie was done.
No, I think they called it. I think it was supposed to be Troll in the beginning, but they had to call them goblins because in America we don't have trolls. We don't have folklores about trolls like they do back there. They
clearly made a whole movie about goblins, and then at the end they're like, it's called Troll.
No. Those creatures are trolls.
But the word troll never appears in the movie.
No, I know.
At any point. No one says it.
Because no one knew it was supposed to be troll. They went with goblin because because
it says Nilbog.
No, because the English translation of troll would be goblin.
I mean, I don't know if that's even a thing you can say. Well, I don't think you can translate troll. Trolls exist.
Well, no, I'm saying that the idea.
I know what bridge trolls are and Billy Goat Gruff and shit.
But that's where the creator of the damn movie came from. I want to have a
Michael Bay 2.5 hour adaptation of Billy Goat's.
There's a fucking
the troll under the bridge.
There's a side movie for Transformers.
You want to see that? Wouldn't it be spectacular? Just as like a prank for his career.
No,
like just make him make that.
No,
we signed you on. We got the rights from Hasbro.
Hi Hasbro. Why do you own that? That's what I would say.
Usually what I say.
Like as Michael Bay, I'd be like, why do you own that, Hasbro?
That's what happened with Ouija. That's why there's a Ouija movie, because Hasbro's making movies about other properties. Like Transformers are working. We're gonna do Battleship. We're gonna do Ouija board. We're just gonna make a whole movie about the Ouija board. It'll be published by Blumhouse. He doesn't care.
I am so upset that there is a side movie for Bumblebee from Transformers
that's just called Bumblebee. Yep.
And
it doesn't feature any of the people that Bumblebee supposedly cares about as people.
And
that's the weirdest part, right?
No.
I thought the first movie was the Bumblebee movie.
The weirdest part.
Where he's introduced and he has a character he cares about.
Yeah, you'd think.
It makes me uncomfortable, actually, watching a Transformers movie when, like, a character goes away.
Oh,
they're just, like, disrespectful towards the character that's gone now. That was, like, a lead actor in your movie for, like, a trilogy.
Yeah.
Like, if I remember correctly, their throwaway lines for what happened to characters are always, like what happened to the main character of the Transformers first trilogy is like actively dismissive, or even like, he's dead or whatever the fuck. And like when Megan Fox was gone for the third movie, they're like, she was a bitch anyway. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? She was your lead actor in 2 movies, and you're just like, fuck him. We just, made the movie all about caring about those people, and that was the entire emotional anchor of you going through the movie, is to care about the 2 lead characters, and we're gonna just shit on them immediately. It's like, you're just betraying your own audience at that point. If they have put up with it this long, they presumably care about those people. Just like how if you watch the 4th movie, you presumably care about Mark Wahlberg if you like the movie. Otherwise, like, you can't love the movie and be like, I hate all the characters. It's like, that's what movies are.
Yeah.
Like, that just means you hate the movie.
My thing, and this was exactly why.
I don't know how we got here, by the way.
This is exactly why I got.
We're here because of Friends.
Yes.
Weird.
This is exactly why I got so mad when Transformers came out. Because I was like, don't put people in it. Don't put humans in it, because you're going to fuck it all up. And what did they do? It fucked it all up. Because then it became too much about the people.
Yeah.
And not enough about the Transformers. And then you have like Transformers 3 where there's a giant, or Transformers 2 where there's giant
the
testicles.
Transformers cartoons are usually about people, aren't they?
No!
Oh, that's just the new ones, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
The old Transformers are about the goddamn toys.
Oh, yeah, Transformers the movie is just a bunch of robots fighting each other, isn't it? It was later on they added kids.
Yeah.
Just like how Sonic the Hedgehog, I think, added kids eventually. And like there's human children in the middle of the story, I think.
No, are you talking
I
about...
think they did that at some point.
You're talking about Sonic X?
I don't know.
Sonic X had a child. That was the anime one that had the
Oh, that was
kid.
the one I talked to you with the creepy shadow segment.
Yeah.
Where they kept cutting the shadow just like skating down the hallway.
Yeah.
It's just so nonchalantly and ominously. He was like the Terminator. I'm like, it's actually creepy.
Someone had a crazy scary theory about that show. That the kid that's in Sonic X is a young Eggman.
And then he massacres the rest of mankind? Like,
no, he's collecting
Where's the rest.
No, the problem is that the end of Sonic X is literally all of Sonic and his friends leaving and going back to Mobius.
Soniclandia.
Mobius. They go back to Mobius. It has a name. Keith, read the lore.
Is it consistently called Mobius?
Yes. It's consistently called
I've heard Mobius a few times.
Mobius is the planet they live on. All right, get it right.
There's enough Sonic games so that basically have no story that it's hard to tell when I'm supposed to connect them.
Well, it depends. Depends on who's there. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to go...
Sometimes the entire story of a Sonic game is sometimes Knuckles chuckles at you. And that's the only story.
I'm not going to go over the Sonic Bible because it's a fucking load of shit. But the point is that someone was saying... Because the end of Sonic X is literally all of Sonic and his friends going back to Mobius. And the kid just getting kind of, being sad is like, oh, my friends are gone.
That's no good.
So the theory is that because the kid has because the kid has a red shirt on. Like the whole series.
I thought you were about to say because the kid is brown.
No, because the kid, he's wearing.
I was like, what are you talking about?
The kid wears a red shirt. He is the grandson of a very very famous inventor, and he is an inventor himself, like good at building things. And when Sonic leaves, he says specifically, Sonic's like, I'll come back, or I'll try to come and visit you one day. Which is why Eggman would be gathering the Chaos Emeralds, is because he's trying to open a portal back to Mobius to go visit Sonic. The difference being that
I would only accept the theory
but the Sonic he experiences isn't the same Sonic in his world. So the Sonic that he's...
the wrong Sonic.
It's a different Sonic. So he's trying to go to the real Sonic.
I would only accept this theory if young Eggman looked like that one friend from Jimmy Neutron.
Carl?
Yeah, the redheaded kid.
What the... No!
That'd be like young Eggman.
Oh, jeez, Jimmy, I don't know if that's a good idea. It was better than Sheen, who was like creepy. He like loved his teacher, and no one stopped that. He just I think
Sheen might be one of those characters that was really funny when I was a kid, and now if I see it as an adult, I'd be like, what's happening?
Yeah, like I watched it as a kid, and
maybe that'll be our next project.
There's literally a scene.
Go watch Jimmy Neutron the movie.
That might kill me. There was literally a scene where like the kid shows up to like do show and tell or something, and like his show and tell project was himself to show to the teacher to make her like him. And I was like, okay, I get the whole like...
If you had to go back and put up with if you had to go... Oh, damn, it doesn't work, does it?
What's your proposal here?
I was just trying to think of what would be like the devil you choose if you had to go back to that era and like actually watch the entirety of a show. But then I remember the good options.
Yeah, there's a lot of good options.
Like Courage, the Cowardly Dog, starring Courage, the Cowardly Dog. Which is like the best show made.
It truly is.
It's not annoying.
No,
it's deep and it's like subtle and creepy and uncomfortable.
Courage the Cowardly Dog,
and quiet.
Yeah, Courage the Cowardly Dog is probably the first children's cartoon where I actually was like, maybe I shouldn't watch this. It's kind of scary.
Like when the cat shows up?
Yeah, cats is super scary. Yeah, because he like that scared me from hotels actually, because he kept throwing spiders in rooms. I was like, that's not okay. Like, why does he do that? That's not cool.
Every now and then I remember, oh shit, there was good things. So
also the Pharaoh,
things that actually age well.
The Pharaoh was like terrifying. Where it was like, but he kept doing it the whole show until people gave him the tablet, and like Courage is like trying to give him stuff, and he's like causing plagues, but the whole time he's just like, oh, and it gets louder, and you're like, oh, stop! Like as it keeps approaching.
Every other episode, you're basically dealing with some kind of incomprehensible Lovecraftian nightmare.
Yes, like, there's like, I remember there's like specifically there was like the episode that had the oh god, what was it? It was I want to say it was, there was like the guy, there was like a oh no, there was like a person who kept coming to the house and trying to sell them something, but like what he was trying to sell them was like was basically just trying to like steal their soul in exchange for an item. And
there's a lot of fucked up. By the way, I keep trying to think of ultimatums, and none of them are good.
No, because there's
like every single time the one I come up with is it's like, would you rather watch Cat Dog, Cow and Chicken, or Ren and Stimpy? I'm like, fuck, it's too easy. Like every single time I make a list, I'm like, god damn it. Like I'm trying to think of 3 similar shows, and every single time like there's a clear bad option and a clear way good option of the 3. Okay, like Cow and Chicken would be real hard to get through again.
Okay, if you want to, instead of saying Ren and Stimpy, you should replace with 2 Stupid Dogs. That makes it hard.
Wait, did I say Ren and Stimpy?
Yes.
I meant to say Rocko's Modern Life.
That's also not good.
Which is still too obvious.
I would choose better. Rocko Modern Life.
Yeah, that's the one I had in my head.
Come on, Rocko, let's go.
Rocko's Modern Life is so obviously better than the other choices.
Did you see that
Yeah, you'd have to be really dumb ones like 2 Stupid Dogs and Angry Beavers. That shudder.
I hate Angry Beavers. It's so dumb. It's like Angry Beavers is literally a movie I would see adults watch because it has Owen Wilson and like Adam Sandler in it, basically, which is like the most annoying thing ever.
He basically was Owen Wilson.
He basically is Owen Wilson.
His whole character is just I'm Owen Wilson.
He's just like, come on, man, you don't have to be like that. We could just hang out. There's no reason to get so uptight. He's like, no, we gotta get uptight, and it's like, oh, okay.
Those are their only characters.
It would basically like, I mean. Well, because it was
Ren and Stimpy's too easy too. Because like, I don't know why you hang out with that mosquito. It's like there's so many great episodes of that show.
I've even seen the Lost episodes, or not Lost episodes, but the ones they wouldn't air on TV because they were too adult. Yeah, like the one where there's like, literally like them at like I think it's like a bar or something, and like they're. Like, I think they're like drinking alcohol and talking about sex.
Somebody come up with a good ultimatum and email it to us of like early 2000s Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon shows.
Would you rather watch?
We probably watched all of.
I have seen all of them.
I've seen all of them back then.
Here we go.
Come up with an ultimatum for us, and we'll have to discuss the pros and cons, and you'll discover how much we watched of those shows.
Which would you prefer to watch? Would you prefer to watch? Wait. Okay, I can do a pretty good one. Do you want to watch the what is it called? That Juniper Lee or something like that? Do you remember that show?
Juniper Lee?
Yeah, it's the one with the girl with the dragonfly, like the stereotypical Asian girl with a neon stripe in her hair, and she goes around and like solves crime or something.
I've never heard of the show.
Okay, well, there's
you did it. You broke me. I've never heard of it.
Would you like to watch Juniper Lee?
Like the wild card, not knowing what it is.
American Dragon, Jake Long, or Jackie Chan Adventures? Because they're all about Asian kids.
See, here's your problem.
Yes.
You watched Disney Channel.
I watched every channel.
Yeah. I didn't know Disney Channel existed.
What?
So American Dragon is film. I think Jackie Chan was Nickelodeon though, or something.
No, Jackie Chan was
Cartoon Network, or was it KQCA 58?
KQCA 58.
Okay, that's what those are the 3 things I had. At home, I watched Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. But at when I was at my dad's shop working, and we were not working, but they were working, and I was along for the ride. We had video games, or we had KQCA 58, which was like Jackie Chan Adventures, Animaniacs, Tiny Toons, I want to say.
Yeah,
and then it was like. Suddenly it was like the adults block, so it'd be like Star Trek Next Generation and Simpsons and Third Rock from the Sun, and a lot of this is like my formative shit because I was stuck with it. Which Star Trek's not a bad show to be stuck with. Next Generation, that's a lot of seasons that they can cycle through it.
Yeah. Random. You know what? Now that I think about it, I would say. I mean, okay. Here's an ultimatum.
Which one did you pick out of those ones? Since you know them.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
I know that one, so it's the one I'd go with.
It's honestly the better of the.
It probably is
because
it has a good intro song. It has a good intro song.
It does.
It's a good intro song.
Okay, here's an ultimatum.
Also, Uncle's the best character.
Here's a 3 ultimatum that is genuinely hard to pick on. Which, if you could only watch one of them, which would you choose? Which is Street Sharks, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, now we're going older.
Or Ghostbusters Extreme.
So now
which are like the 3 coolest shows that aired when I was a fucking like in elementary school.
So now we're missing the margin in the other direction a little bit, where it's harder to remember because like the glut of like 90s and 80s television, every show was like a cast of 4 mutant people.
Yes.
Like, you might as well be like, Biker Mice from Mars, Cowboys of Moo Mesa, which I watched.
Replace
I watched Cowboys of Moo Mesa. I had VHS copies of Cowboys of Moo Mesa.
Replace Ghostbusters Extreme with Cowboys of Moo Mesa. There you go. You pick, which mutant team do you want to watch?
Black cartoon.
Fuck that cartoon.
Or the Beetlejuice cartoon.
Beetlejuice cartoon was good as fuck. Shut your mouth. It was super good. It had such a good intro too.
I think it was. Yeah,
dude, that intro was so good.
It was so well animated.
It was so good because it's just like
the options were Cowboys of Moo Mesa, Ninja Turtles, like 1989 version.
So Cowboys of Moo Mesa, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Street Sharks.
It has to be Ninja Turtles, right?
I mean, here's the hard part is because they're all good.
Were the Street Sharks, did they even have personalities?
Hell yeah, they did.
I don't think I cared.
One was the California Surfer.
I don't think I even cared about that show when I was a kid because they were just like, I literally like hated looking at them. Like their entire body was just a mouth. I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you watch this?
It's true. The main villain was also basically Robotnik, but wearing a scuba suit.
Where Cowboys of Mesa was like really like some of that really stilted like, oh, thanks. It's like, thanks, buddy, and all that other stuff. Yeah. Like all like the small town of people all friendly with each other. Then like the villains come into town, and, like they come do bad things. Like every week, we gotta stop them. And like the woman and children characters would be like,
yeah,
and like talking like, you gotta get them, deputy. And like, I'm gonna shoot my gun that shoots stars.
Basically like Thundercats.
Their guns shot stars.
Well, they shot sheriff stars.
Yes.
Yeah.
His gun shot sheriff stars because they couldn't
have shoot bullets.
Because they couldn't have real guns in a kids show, so it shot his badge at people.
Yeah,
which was still a gun. It was still just a gun.
It's kind of more risky.
I mean, it wouldn't penetrate as much, but it definitely is. It's more immediately off-putting.
Yeah,
you're shooting like a bladed shuriken.
Yeah, he basically shot shurikens at people. That's kind of scary. Like, I don't want a shuriken gun coming at me. Like,
it's well, I mean, that's the Yahtzee quote, right?
Yeah,
it had shot shurikens and lightning. The only way it could be more cool if it had tits that was on fire.
I'm trying to think what
shuriken gun.
I watched everything as a kid. I was such a
Cowboys of Mesa kept singing like bad faux country for of the Dora the Explorer like budget.
I'm trying to think now. Like I watched both the Sonic cartoons. I
did too. I significantly preferred the one that actually felt like it had a world instead of being a weird nightmare.
Yeah.
Like the one that was like, oh, we're at the Resistance.
Robotnik, what are we gonna do today? It's like, we're gonna get Sonic. What else are we gonna do? And then you had the stupid robot.
Oh, come on, guys. I don't think we need to do that. That's not gonna be a good idea.
Completely insufferable. And there was like, Robotnik just had two mega idiots.
It was
his entire force.
Literally Beak.
They were worse than Team
Beaks
Rocket.
and Drills, I think were their names.
I think I experienced Team Rocket first. So I was like, why are these guys so much less competent than Team Rocket?
Who's the most incompetent?
Who never succeed at things.
By the way, it's only been 10 years since they've been trying to get a Pikachu. That's pretty impressive. Specifically that one.
It's only been 10 years?
In the show's timeline, technically, yeah.
Oh, I was like, how are you getting 10 years? I'm like, I stopped watching this show like 15 years ago. I don't understand your timeline.
I will say that's the only thing that I find impressive about Japanese animation versus American animation.
Yeah.
Is that Japanese animation, if something is going well, they're like, we're doing it for life. Whereas American are like, you get like 2 seasons, make it work. Here's the budget, go for it. Like,
are you saying you prefer it when it stops?
No, it's kind of scary because you think about it, it's like I can say that. It's like, yeah, I watched like 2
American shows end.
But it's like I watched 2
even the popular ones.
Yeah, I watched 2 seasons
except Teen Titans Go.
What? I watched 2 seasons of Courage the Cowardly Dog and it was good.
All
and
of
I
our
liked
favorite
it.
ones are distressingly short usually.
Invader Zim, I watched 2 seasons of it.
Not even.
Or a season and a half.
It's a season and a half and it abruptly just weirdly ends and half of them are like, we recorded the audio but they never animated it.
Yeah, it was like, okay, that was fun. And then it's like, One Piece was 15 years. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a long commitment to an animation show.
Invader Zim also qualifies in the this is actually genuinely terrifying scale.
Invader Zim was...
Remember the part when he was stealing people's organs?
Remember the part where he almost vomited organs? Because he had so many organs in his fucking body?
Which led to the fantastic line where he goes in for his checkup finally, and she's like, oh, such plentiful organs. It's like, what the...
And then the other kid comes in.
That one person's like voice box is replaced with like the cow sound can. And so she's just sitting there like drooling and making the cow noise. I'm like... The fuck is this?
Then she like freaks out by it because she's like, well, let me. I think she like checks his heart rate and it's like, and she like freaks out and like the news comes and it's all this like big deal.
He's like trying to talk past all of his tongues.
Yeah.
It's really horrible. On one hand,
it's weird because that show starts out on like the most scary premise ever, which is literally there's giant alien race that goes through and like the Zerg just destroys planets and like basically consumes them.
And it only gets creepier from there.
Yeah. And then suddenly somehow it gets like it's even more scary because you think about the idea that like
but it's interspersing that with moments like I got chocolate bubblegum.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Gur is like the
one that's like it's like the keys you dangle in front of the children so they don't get too scared by all the stuff that's happening.
Gur is literally okay. For one, Gur was like if you ever dated a faux goth girl in high school, she probably had like some kind of Gur paraphernalia
right next to their Jack Skellington.
Yes. Secondly, Gur is like the symbol, the giant erected symbol. By the way, that
goth girl was my brother. He went to Halloween with, as Jack Skellington at one point, and he also had like jackets that were Jack Skellington or Gur and pins and like keychains of them.
They were
just repeating.
They were just the cool thing to do.
Like, stop. Just get one.
Gur was a really, I would say, the only thing that's impressive about Gur is that he is like the sole perfect companion comedy character.
Yes.
He is just the embodiment of the perfect character.
He could make me laugh without saying things.
Yes.
Like one of the funniest moments for me was when he gets chained to the tree outside and immediately starts walking in circles around it. And the moment he hits the edge of the of his leash, he just and like falls on his back and stands up and goes the other way around and does it again. It's like, and he's just doing that in silence. He's just doing like this hyper like satire version of what dogs do, like so exaggerated. And he goes straight to it the moment he's there. He's immediately doing the stupid thing.
I think my other one is he's like silently drinking a Slurpee. And he's like sucking on it so hard his face sucks into the Slurpee.
That's the line I just said.
Yeah.
It was like, I got chocolate bubble gum. It's like,
and the same, he's like flying.
Actually, wait, that's the scene where that's the scene where he's like, I told you to keep the door locked, and then he's like, I opened the window, and then after that he throws him outside and chains him to the. That's when that happens. It's all the same scene.
I love the scene where he's flying. He's like Zim's riding on him to fly after Dib, and he like falls over and runs out of fuel. He's like, where's all the fuel? He's like, I replaced it with tuna. And he's like, it's like sucking his foot and tuna's coming out. He's like, I'm all out of tuna. It's like, what?
Dib's poor, terrifying life. Doesn't he end episodes with like not a brain sometimes and things like just horrible things?
His father's also like terrifying. His father like literally, I think his father literally neglected his children to make
toast. Such a spectrum of how watchable these shows are when you go back to them. Because I went back and watched Invader Zim when I was like 25 or something. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, this works.
Yeah.
I'm cool with this.
Invader Zim still works, but I think that's because of the humor. Like the humor itself is not trying to devolve itself to being like, it has to be child friendly, but also has to appease adults. And the guy was just like, look, I find this funny and you're going to find it funny too, because the whole show is about this kind of humor. It's like, yeah.
I'm always interested in how like some shows can make me laugh so much and other shows can just never register on the scale for me.
Yeah.
Like I could skip to a random minute of Invader Zim and probably laugh more than I did during Deadpool 2.
Oh yeah.
Like a high budget production all about just trying to make me laugh. And I was like, and one of the two, I told you earlier today, like one of the two times I laughed when I was in the theater was to the trailer beforehand because it was like for Fate Stay Night something. And they were like, can Destiny be real if we don't have eyes, or some dumb anime ass line played? And that was the only thing they said in the entire trailer, and then it just ended. I was like, what the fuck?
A good example for me is live action deadpan humor never works. It's one of the
deadpan works for me in the Cornetto trilogy.
Huh.
Like, I laugh a lot during the quiet, like, not jokey scenes of, like, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, I can...
Like, when he's just, like, nonchalantly walking around and like zombie apocalypse is happening in the background and things like that.
Yeah.
Or it's like changing the channel on the TV and it's like every word perfectly constructs what's happening in the apocalypse, but he's not absorbing. Like, he's literally changing the channel too fast to absorb that every single news station is about the zombie apocalypse happening right now, and he's just not paying attention. And every time he changes the channel, the next channel is picking up where the other one left off in the same sentence.
Yeah.
And even then, he's still not registering that the apocalypse is happening.
It's the I don't know why. It's just like, for some reason, real life people doing deadpan humor, it never feels right. Like, especially when they're saying something. Like, when they say a joke that's supposed to be deadpan, it makes me mad. Because it's like, I've heard that joke, but I've heard it in anime, and it's somehow better.
I've heard it in anime.
And it's like, it's so much funnier somehow, because they have like...
This is not like my Japanese animes.
But there's an anime going on right now that is like all just so much deadpan humor, and it is just fucking cripplingly humorous. I can't
cripplingly.
Like, I watch the show and I'm like, I'm basically mentally deficient by the end of it because I'm laughing so much that I have to just take a moment to like regain sanity. Because it's just so, there's like a whole scene where a child's literally trying to get like to do a happy birthday for this guy that's taking care of her, and so she's going around and like trying to find the things to celebrate birthdays with, but she doesn't have the money to do it, and she doesn't know what to do. And the end result is he walks in and she's basically made a funeral for him, where she made like a coffin that's filled with all of his favorite stuff. And like she basically set up an offering, like a little plate of offering, which is food that he likes, and she put it in like such a specific pattern that makes it look like prayer beads. And she like did all this on accident. And he walks in, he's like, is this like, am I dead? And she like pops out and she's like, happy birthday. And he's just like staring at her, and she like stares at him and she's like, oh, I did it wrong. And he's like, what? What was the whole point of this? And he's like, it's like both parties are just looking at each other like, I didn't ask for this. Why did you do it? And she's like, I don't know why I did this. Are you happy? And neither party is giving any response. Didn't work for anybody. Yeah, like both parties just looking at each other.
Did you name the anime?
No, I didn't.
You should name the anime to save that commenter that will be asking, what's he talking about this time, Code? What? Do you not know the name of the anime?
I don't know the name of the anime.
Is it like Japanese words?
It's...
Because that's what that gets really rough for me, is when they don't have an English title for it.
Yeah, there's no English title.
To help us out.
Here.
Because I was like, oh yeah, we recommend this show about a teacher. It's called... I'll remember that. Shit.
There's a couple of them. There's Assassination Classroom, Sayonara, Zetsubo Sensei.
What's the one that's supposed to be like the most critically acclaimed or like fan favorite ever? Like one about some teacher. I think it's the one where the guy fights a deer.
Nichijou?
The one where he wrestle slams a deer in that one scene? Is that the one that's like one
That's the comedy, yeah.
It's like in like the top 20 ever animes or something like that?
Yes,
Yeah.
That's Nichijou.
I need to start watching some of the top animes ever and see if any of them I can get into.
Nichijou's hilarious to me. It's
preferably shows that have like maybe 2 seasons and end.
That's a lot.
All right, I forgot Japanese anime seasons are like 50 episodes. Yeah. So maybe like a show that has a run, as opposed to was made until it wasn't profitable anymore. Like Bleach.
That's kind of hard. Now you're asking a little bit of the impossible.
Now I'm asking for the impossible. Yeah. What happened to that show? What about the astronaut show?
Space Bros?
Space Bros?
It finished.
Yeah.
Not as in like completed.
Oh.
They just stopped making new episodes.
It doesn't have an ending?
It does in the manga.
Just like Gangsta.
No, the Space Bros company didn't go bankrupt.
No, but Gangsta has like one of the worst cliffhangers in the history of media.
It does, yeah.
Which is that the guy's jumping between buildings on his way to help someone or something in a ticking clock scenario, and the cliffhanger end of episode, and then there's just never another episode.
No.
It wasn't even a season finale, I don't think. It's literally, they just stopped making episodes because they went bankrupt.
Yeah.
And it just ends there, and you're like, the fuck? Why did you do this to me?
Yep. Your best bet is to probably watch like trigger shows.
I've been having fun reading these things, like reading manga that are just like isolated things that just will end.
Oh, yeah.
I finished my entire Junji Ito collection, And I also read the manga adaptation of All You Need Is Kill which is adapted by the Death Note guy.
Yeah.
And like
you can read Death
right
Note.
Time.
It's finished.
I did.
Oh,
remember?
Yeah. You could read.
By the way, All You Need Is Kill does not go the way I thought it was going to.
No.
It's a very different plot point ultimately than the movie. Like one might say the opposite plot point.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
It's called director's touch.
Like guy and girl meet each other, and then the direction they go in the movie versus the manga and book is like vroom.
Yeah.
Exact opposite. Partly because the rules are literally different between the two universes, specifically surrounding that part of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's like up until then the rules about the looping match, but then once they meet each other, you learn about a new rule about how that works in All You Need Is Kill, and they just don't do that in the movie.
Yeah.
And instead do the other thing. And I'm super mixed about which one I even prefer. Because I kind of liked in the movie where they're like, where only one of them is looping, and like he's like when they go out and their plan keeps getting more and more advanced, and they get to the part where like they get to that one house, and like, this is it. This is the end of the road for you. If I take you past this point, you always die, and like stuff like that. Those kind of plot points.
Yeah.
Like that's made up for that movie entirely.
Yeah.
But it's like that's actually cool plot points that work. The problem for me is that the ending of that movie is garbage. I hate the ending of the movie where they're just like they just like it ends with a heroic sacrifice, and they're just like, but JK, everyone wins and everyone's fine and there's no consequences.
Yeah,
I'm like that's not how the rules worked. The whole point is that you stopped the loop. That means that you don't loop, but then they loop anyway, but one last time just because of audience wish fulfillment.
Yes. It exists.
The ending sucks.
It exists just to appease people.
It's exactly like the ending of it's exactly like the rewritten ending of the Will Smith vampire movie.
Oh, Legion? Not Legion.
Not Legion. I Am Legend?
I Am Legend.
Yeah. Which like I read
I Am Robot and I Am Legend?
iRobot.
iRobot?
Yeah.
Why does he have two movies that start with I? That's dope.
There's also an I in Suicide Squad.
There's no I in Squad.
There's no I in Suicide. Oh. Oh no! Oh no! I guess the answer's not anymore. Oh, edgelord humor. This is some real like kindergarten fucking edgelord humor. Like, how many babies does it take to paint a house? It depends on how hard you throw them.
It doesn't actually.
It doesn't.
It depends on how much blood is in those babies. Like, I mean,
now you're asking the real question.
If you throw an anemic child,
approximately 3 pints, and that's not going to cover a wall.
Yeah, I mean, if you throw a child that has anemia, then it's useless because it has less blood than the other children. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? I mean, work smarter, not harder. Like, just because you throw a lot of babies doesn't mean it's covering more ground.
Have you read the original I Am Legend?
No.
Neither have I. But I read the.
I know the plot.
But I read the comic. There's a reoccurring thing where like I'll read the comic book adaptation of something instead of the original version for some reason. So I read the graphic novel of I Am Legend, and yeah, like the movie ends with him like in like vampire jail because he's like the only human left, and he's like dangerous, and all the vampires are the new society now.
Yeah,
and like he's just put him up there in that tower, lock him away because they won't kill him, but like it's like. Yeah, stop attacking people. Like they lock him up because they find out that everyone else is vampires now, and like that's it. Like they're the new society and just moved on without him, and now he is legend. Is like literally the title of the book is about the ending, and like the title's about the ending, and they changed the ending in the movie to have nothing to do with like so it's just a title that they just doesn't mean anything.
Isn't the ending of the movie where he just kind of like helps create a cure or something?
In the end of the movie, he sacrifices himself so that the mom and child can just leave, and then they randomly find some camp somewhere, and then the movie just ends, and it's just like all ass pull. Oh yeah, cool. The settlement that never came up before or whatever. Like also in the movie, he's like the last person in all of the city, which they probably did because it's like cinematic and stuff.
Yeah,
but I think in the book, he's just like hermiting out in one house and like bunkering it down and everything.
Yeah, he's like hermiting in a mansion or something.
He's hiding in one house from all the things that keep showing up outside. Yeah.
There's a lot of...
We should finish this email so we never have to open it again.
Yes.
Because we keep reopening the same email.
Yes, I would like to finish it as well. Where did we leave off?
We did the books one last time, right?
Yes. So...
the last question kind of barely makes sense.
Yeah, so when is Keith going to finish Super Meat Boy?
I did. That was a finale. I beat the credits rolled. I beat Dr. Fetus.
Did you get all the bonus levels?
No, fuck you.
Then that's not completed.
Fuck you.
So that's your answer. When is Andrew's playthrough coming?
Never, because he quit YouTube. He's never doing solo Let's Plays ever again. R.I.P. R.I.P.
You see, the game has been my life for more years than I can count. I have a certain pride.
Okay, never mind. This email was already over, as it turns out. He's just quoting Hand of Fate 2, because memes. So that's never mind. We were actually already done with that email.
Cool. We have a bunch more.
Also, he tried to Rickroll us.
He did try to Rickroll us.
He's like, oh man, this is a brilliant video essay lampooning Ready Player One. And he linked us to Rickroll, and it auto-expanded in the email, so it's clearly Rickroll. We can see it.
Yeah. Yeah, YouTube is not... Gmail doesn't let that happen. The topic from Preed was...
What's a game you wish you could forget?
Oh my god, this list is too big now.
We're going to answer the... I feel like we've answered this before. I don't know. But what I know is that we're going to answer this in opposite directions. We're both going to approach this in different directions.
Are we?
Yeah, because you're going to want to forget a game that you hated. And I'm going to want to forget a game I loved so I could re-experience it.
Oh, you could use it in that way.
Yeah, you can use it as a force for good. In fact, you don't want to forget things you hate because then you'll just maybe run into it again.
No, because if I forgot 999, I would never play it.
Maybe.
No, I know I would never play it.
Especially since you can't forget both games.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So, yeah, I would never... Oh, I wouldn't want to do that because then I wouldn't understand why I hate Virtue's Last Reward so much.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to forget about Sonic, but there's too many to forget.
I mean, I would want to forget about Mass Effect 1 because it has the most like oh shit moments throughout it that like I really enjoyed, and I want to re-experience them.
Nope,
but I
want to do that with Portal.
Portal's a good one.
I wish I could
Portal
forget
2
Portal.
are good ones.
God, I wish I could forget.
I wouldn't mind forgetting The Witness entirely and rediscovering it.
Oh, I don't
for mechanical. Well, I know that you hated the game, obviously, but like I would love to be able to re-experience all those aha moments and stuff like that. Well, like yeah, I'd love to re-experience the narrative of like Mass Effect and not know it.
Yeah, I think that's like the only cool thing about other people having children is
fucking Vermeer. Just the entire Vermeer segment of that game is so good.
Yeah, there's a couple of games I would like to. Yeah, Portal 2 would be great.
The Conduit and Vigil. I want to re-experience that. Like both the stakes of Vermeer and also the decision on Vermeer, but above all, the encounter with Sovereign on Vermeer and just the realization of like how fucked everything is and the scale of your conflict that you didn't realize until now,
you didn't realize
and how intimidating its presentation is. Like everything about the conversation with Sovereign is so good.
Yes.
The first time. And then all the stakes going in, your conversation with Saren, but then also like you go after the Conduit and you meet with Vigil, and Vigil explains the Protheans to you and this planet and how fucked everything is, and you fully understand things, and then you do the fucking like speed rush down the hallway, do a sweet kickflip jump into the portal, and just crash into the Citadel, where you then climb. You deactivate gravity and climb up the side of a skyscraper while fighting turrets and shit. I'm like, it's a real good ending to a game.
It is. It's really intense.
Like, as much as people hype up the other games in the franchise, even Mass Effect 2 and 3 never have that cool of shit happen.
No.
That was cool shit.
I do remember the ending of Mass Effect 1 more than I remember 2.
Yeah.
I don't remember what 2 was.
I remember even at the time, people kept saying like this will be like the final 90 minutes are like some of the most memorable shit that has ever happened in video games.
I don't think ever in video games.
Whereas in Mass Effect 2, it's like there's a human Reaper, shoot it in the face hole, then flip the bird to the Invisible Man. You did it.
Oh, that's right. That's what the ending was.
Yeah.
What a shit ending.
Here's the best way to improve the ending to Mass Effect 2. Take Miranda with you. The ending's just way better if Miranda betrays the Invisible Man in the ending. Because whoever's with you in your party is in the final conversation.
Yeah.
And Miranda just flips the bird to Invisible Man, basically. Just like, nope, I'm with Shepard now, fuck you. And it's way better of an ending than anybody else you can take with you, basically.
I'm trying to think.
And then Mass Effect 3 had an ending. That was memorable for different reasons.
Yeah. God.
To this day, I still argue you can fix so much of Mass Effect 2 by just deleting most of the ending. Not extended edition even. Just fucking... You're sitting there with Anderson, and poor Anderson's like, oh no, we did it, Shepard, but it's too much for me. And then like, you press the button, and then just have the button kill all the Reapers like it was supposed to.
Yeah.
And then have everyone party. Then have the Citadel DLC happen where everyone parties. But instead they're like, no, a magical thing comes down and a hologram child gives you an ultimatum, but none of the ultimatum makes sense, and you can't. No matter how much you stare at it for like 5 hours at the decisions that he poses to you and try to analyze them, even his explanation of what will happen doesn't make sense in universe.
Yeah.
Like it's the most grand scale, like galaxy sweeping decision that's ever happened at the end of any video game. And it's so poorly explained where you can't even accurately say you even know what the decisions are going to do.
One was like control all robotic life.
So this,
and the other one was like wipe out all human or wipe out all organic life. And
like,
then
all this is like
the middle ground was like, why don't you just become hybrids? And I was like, wait, that one doesn't make sense.
Just all this is like why every time, like whenever I hear like Rooster Teeth podcast or some other random thing, and some assholes are like, oh yeah, Mass Effect's great, just skip the first one. I'm like, fuck you.
Who says skip the first Mass Effect?
Everyone.
What, because of the Mako?
So many people say to skip the first one.
I think that's
because it's kind of awkward and shit. Like, it's a little janky in its controls or whatever, and the Mako's not amazing, I guess.
The Mako's the only part I have a complaint about.
So everyone says all the time to skip the first one and just play the second and third one. So I'm like, what the fuck? It's clearly the best game.
You should probably skip the third one, play the first and second.
It's clearly the best game in the series. And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Isn't the third game, like, doesn't the third game start off, you get on your ship and some guy's like, hey, who the fuck are you? And I'm like, who the fuck are you? And he's like...
The third one starts off on you being put on trial on Earth for a crime you committed in the DLC of the second game.
Oh, right.
That's what happened.
I forgot because
they made a DLC
like I didn't know
that
what
sets up the next game.
Yeah, I didn't know what was going on,
and I guarantee you, most people didn't play it because that's how DLC works.
Yeah,
so they don't know what's happening in the next game.
I don't remember what happened, or I remember starting Mass Effect 3 and going like, "Did we leave? Was I arrested
and
for something?"
And it was also like the worst DLC because it has massive plot holes and conveniences that are all like a giant mess.
Well, yeah, I had to make room for 3. I'm trying to think of like any other game I would possibly want to forget for the better, like to re-experience it and have the magic.
Where is it? Portal.
I said Portal and Portal 2 would be great.
Banjo-Kazooie?
No.
That was a sound.
I wouldn't play Banjo-Kazooie again.
What are your favorite games? You mean like, do you think like if you didn't have memory of Banjo-Kazooie, you wouldn't like be convinced to try it?
Yeah, because Banjo-Kazooie is what got me into the collectathon platformer genre. So if I never played it before, I would just only be able to remember the bad collectathon platformers like Yooka-Laylee.
Whereas if I'd ever played Mass Effect, I would have played it anyway. I would play it anyway now because of KOTOR and Dragon Age.
Yeah. Were my only experience besides Banjo-Kazooie of collectathons that I
enjoyed. Now it's getting meta. Now you're talking about like your life choices. Like, would you ever re-encounter this game if you didn't play it? I added a new vector and then you added another new vector.
Yeah,
because like the assumption is that you forget the game and then you can encounter it again. But you've had multiple times now. You've talked about how like if you forgot it, you wouldn't play it again.
Yeah,
like,
I just would never.
999 and Banjo-Kazooie.
I would just never have interacted with it, which is the hard part because I have to like think of like Super Mario World.
The good news is
I could forget Super Mario World and be okay and still have a grand time playing Super Mario World for the first time again.
Yeah,
where I'd be like, "Whoa, this is really hard. How do you do stuff?"
There's also the thing where like if you just wait long enough, you kind of just forget things anyway. Like we that happened with us. Like we went back and like went to like go play Perfect Dark. And like it had been long enough, especially for me, where like I don't fucking remember this game. I just know I love it.
I remember a lot of bits and pieces of it, but I don't remember the whole picture.
Yeah. Main thing I remembered about Perfect Dark was why me. That's just seared into my brain.
Yeah. It's a very good line. Very passionate. Joanna, what are you doing? I'll blow up this facility to save your life.
That's like the only thing that you're gonna remember is like you remember why. me. And you remember like the stock sounds that are every gun sound.
Yeah.
And then what you remember is every single different voice saying Joanna.
Yeah.
Like
Joanna.
Like I'm fake. I'm
fake Sean Connery.
Yeah, fake Sean Connery. Joanna. And then Joanna. I don't know why we talk like this. We thought that all the aliens should be Toad.
I'm trying to think.
Are you trying to come up with a better answer than Portal or something?
Yes. I don't think I have one. You know what? No, I think
you need to learn to love again.
I would like it more if you forgot if the stipulation was you can forget any game you want, but if you forget a game that is the first time you've ever
then your life continues forward from that point as if you never encountered it.
Yes.
You're trying to find the game you can delete that like makes your life happier and gives you a good career.
Not happier.
Puts you on a different life trajectory.
I'm saying like the game.
Are we gonna find out like the Ground Zero like drug game that ruined your life?
I think
it'd be really depressing is if nothing changes and you just forget the game and that's it. And you're like, I want to forget World of Warcraft. You're like, there goes a year. Like the whole period of your life is gone now.
I think if I forgot Doom, my life would be for the worse.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
I think I would have never actually got into. I would have never gotten into
shooters or PC
yeah.
games,
I would have never gotten into gaming beyond platformers.
Oh, that was like your first time playing in like an aggressive game or whatever?
That was my first time playing a first-person shooter and going like, I actually like the power and the control of this. Yeah. I like being able to just kill anything in my path. I like the idea that I can just
my first PC game was Age of Empires 2.
Ah, yeah.
So that's specifically formative. That's why I still remember my fucking password. Like I still remember.
Did you put that as your username?
I'm sorry, not yeah, there was a thing where I mixed up my password and my username because I didn't understand the concepts of passwords and usernames. This was my first time ever making one. So my username in Age of Empires 2 was E5G3. I thought that was like my password.
Keith the symbiote.
I mixed them up because I was like, I don't know how old I was, but I was below 10. Like I was young enough, and the internet was not widespread as a concept that people like accepted properly. Really, it was just there for those that wanted it, kind of. And so like
a buffet.
Yeah, so I just had no understanding of like usernames and passwords, and I somehow mixed the two up, and I'm not really sure how. And I had to remember that like my username was E5G3, and my password was like a name of some kind. I don't remember as well.
I think the first time I ever created a username and password. I think the first time I ever created a username and password for a website was a porn website.
At what age?
I was 13.
God damn, that's early.
Yeah, I was 13. Why did
you need a password?
Because they offered a thing that the more you looked at, the more you would get these points that would allow you to actually physically download the files to your computer instead of just looking at them online. And so I was like, this is a really good system. I'm going to follow this system and download all of the porn and then not need the internet to look at it.
By the way, you haven't lived until you have to do technical support for a family member and then you find their porn folder.
I've had worse.
Or not even real porn folder. It's just they're just such a fucking grandpa of a person with computers that they don't understand computers, so they just have never looked in their download folder. And it's just full of all these different things, like a bunch of weird random innocent things, and then just like weird porn downloads that have just stayed there because they don't know where that folder is or that it exists or how it goes or what goes there. They're probably just, and I almost guarantee they're probably getting it via like email attachments because like everything's done the least efficient possible way when you don't know what you're doing.
I had the unfortunate encounter to work on someone's computer, and they were like, I need a video file recovered. Like they needed a video file recovered. So I scoured through the hard drive and recovered every video that they had deleted, and majority of it was porn. And there was one very nice family video of the guy and his kids and his wife, and
And it was corrupted with porn. The porn's overriding
and
parts of it.
And I turned it on. It was porn all along. No,
It just had a one frame at the beginning of the family.
it was a ruse.
That's how you hide it.
No, but yeah, it was like I had to go through and I'm just sitting there. I was like, and I can't see a thumbnail of them because they're not, real files. They're just recovered files.
Yeah.
So I can't see a thumbnail. I just have to open every file individually, and so it's like open, open, open.
No thumbnails.
No, so I'm just like, this is not going so good. And then it gets to the point.
I had the experience where I bought a used laptop from Max.
I
bought a used laptop from Max to use for college.
Yeah.
And one day my friends were using it for a bit, and they just found porn on it. And I was like, didn't know that was there. It's not mine, actually, as it turns out. Not that anyone would believe me in this situation. But, like, turns out Max didn't reformat the computer when he sold it, which is baffling. Yeah. By the way, I've been sitting here in paranoia because I'm looking at those batteries there. Those red and bronze ones.
Yes.
And first of all, I think those might be my batteries.
They are.
They've just been sitting here forever.
Yeah, they're dead.
You don't like dispose of them or anything.
I forgot to. Yeah.
So yeah, this room's like weird. There's just piles of shit. So I made a mistake, which is that my batteries were just sitting on my shelf. I had like the container that they came from, and I've just been taking them out a few at a time and using them.
Okay.
And then but I kept setting the expired ones on a shelf. Like I'll get to those. One of them exploded.
What? Like literally? How?
Like it popped.
What?
And it's on film actually, because I'm playing the game Hot Lava.
Okay.
And I'm playing it with Durf and so on, and you just hear this loud snap, which after compression and shit, it's all equalized and shit. But at the time, it was the loudest thing in the entire recording. And like everything else was like way smaller than normal in waveform because of how loud the snap was.
Oh my god!
Which is like over there on my bookshelf, it just a battery just popped, and it was the loudest sound. It actually was like it was a real life jump scare.
I've never had a battery explode on me like that unless I did it intentionally.
I've just been staring at them in paranoia now. Because I'm just like, when's it gonna happen?
They won't pop.
My guess would be that it's the variability of temperature in the room of heating and cooling over time might lead to something, or maybe just the pressure of them just causes a thing where it's just a random defect where it could just happen. But yeah, there was like weird fluids and shit, and I was like wiping them up, and
that's corrosive acid.
Yeah.
Batteries are kind of scary.
Yeah. So yeah, I would recommend disposing of those.
Well, just in case.
Or putting them in something at least. All right, now he's stacking them on the dog dildo that we got in the P.O. box. So that they can melt the dog dildo.
There we go.
That's going to be your convenient way of being rid of it.
Yes.
As the batteries just turned on it one day. Nothing could have been done about it.
What a shame.
I definitely didn't precariously stack them on the tip. On its awkward,
the tip.
Weird bowl-shaped tip that it has. As if it's...
It's like a teacup or something?
We've been going for a while, right?
Yep, about...
Yeah, hey guys, bye-bye. Send your emails to us. Give us cartoon ultimatums, I guess. Or questions. Or just wish Andrew well on his life. His post-YouTube life.
Can't snap your own neck. It's really hard.
Give him vlogging topics. Get him to vlog and cook things.
Vlog?
Get him to cook.
Hey guys, Andrew here. Welcome to another vlog. How you guys doing? My day is great. I'm sitting at home all day.
You say that like you don't vlog.
Well, I vlogged about
Get him to cook 2 cup of noodles. Inside each other.
What?
It'll be a cupping.
That is not a good idea.
It's like a weird...
That's also a lot of...
I didn't know where to go with...
That's a lot of ramen. Goddamn.
I didn't know where to go from like turducken, but with just cupping.
It's a thing. You'll catch on.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.